right, you take care of that voice here. You got a lot of words to read today there, Anthony. Welcome back. We have a beautiful day on the way. It is not going to feel like mid-November. It's going to feel more like late September around here. Skies are essentially clear. We've had a couple of high, thin clouds out there, but by and large, this is going to be a sunny day. Spectacular. Temperatures headed for the mid-60s. It'll be 48 at 9, warming up to 60 already at noon, and then we'll be in the mid-60s all afternoon long here. And it's not going to be that windy, too. A lot of times when you get these big warm-ups, they're accompanied by 30-mile-an-hour winds, and you can't really be outside and enjoy it. That's not going to be the case today. Current temperatures, 40 at Chicago Heights, 42 at Waukegan, 46 at Midway. Gary, last hour you were 50. You've dropped to 48, but everybody headed for a nice big warm-up here in a little bit. Gabrielle is here to tell us what's wrong with the rails.
Well, Mike, yeah, we're talking about the Blue Line train, and I mentioned it even in the 5 o'clock hour that there was a medical emergency going on. So service was stopped between Jefferson Park and Grand Avenue due to a medical emergency, as I said, and it was at Logan Square is where that happened. But we're hearing reports that it might be restored now, so stand by. I'll give you some more information. Your roads are looking okay. We're about 25 minutes on the Dan Ryan because of an earlier incident near 26. Also 25 minutes on the Stevenson, Eisenhower. Let's call it 25 as well on the Kennedy from O'Hare to downtown. Natalie, back to you.
Gabby, we want to get to that breaking news right now. Take a good look at this video. Chicago police are looking to identify 2 men in connection to a double homicide in Little Village. It happened last Saturday. There was a robbery near the 3800 block of West 26th Street. Moments later, police say the robber got into a fight with 2 other men who he shot and killed. The victims, a 63-year-old man and a 25-year-old man. Anyone with information is asked to call police.
All right, the long government shutdown may now be over, but for travelers, the impact of all those flight reductions may not be.
Roseanne Tejas, live at O'Hare Airport. Roseanne, what are you seeing this morning?
Well, it's pretty busy here at O'Hare, but, you know, after all of those federally mandated flight reductions throughout the week, it's been hectic. People here at O'Hare telling us this morning that they're really happy to hear that air traffic controllers are coming back to work after a slew of sick calls. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy said safety is still a top priority and they'll resume normal operations once they're certain we're moving in the right direction. Now, Katie Nastro with Going.com is cautiously optimistic.
So we want people to be aware that through the weekend or into early next week, it is likely that you still could see impacts in the way of flights being canceled as well as some delays.
Our flight was originally scheduled for the evening, so we try to do it early, so, you know, with a better chance of getting out early.
And it's all systems go.
Yes.
Have a good time. Now back live at O'Hare, there are 52 cancellations, and at Midway, we're told there are 9 cancellations this morning. We're not going to go up to that 10% reduction rate. We're stagnant at 6 through the weekend. So we are starting the weekend on a positive note, but once again, it is getting busy here at O'Hare Airport. Back to you in the studio.
All right, thank you, Roseanne. Federal workers have started heading back to the office in Chicago. A senior Trump administration official says agencies have been directed to issue back pay as soon as possible. Most of the government will run on autopilot through January 30th, but Congress is still trying to finish its funding work. Depending on how that goes, we could see the government shut down again.
All right, with the shutdown over, Illinois families will also start to see SNAP benefits restored starting today. They will get their full benefits by November 20th. Nearly 2 million people in our state use the food assistance program. Benefits had been delayed because the Trump administration did not use emergency funds to pay for it.
To a developing story now that we've been following for you. A civil rights activist, Jesse Jackson, remains hospitalized this morning. This is related to a rare neurological condition. The Rainbow Push Coalition says he's been dealing with this for more than a decade after his Parkinson's diagnosis. In a statement, the organization says, quote, "We are grateful for the medical team at Northwestern Hospital. Reverend Jackson is receiving appropriate treatment. They will continue to monitor his progress and well-being to ensure the best possible care and support."
Recent arrests linked to a terror plot in Michigan have a connection to an alleged plot in Chicago. Brian Jackson joins us now with these new developments. Brian.
Well, according to federal court documents, the 2024 Chicago Pride Parade was targeted by ISIS in a thwarted bomb attack. 3 men from Dearborn, Michigan were indicted on Thursday. According to court documents, they allegedly scouted locations to attack from Michigan to Chicago. In an online chat group, one of the members of the group posted about conducting an attack on the Chicago Pride Parade on June 8th of 2024. Now, authorities arrested the men on Halloween after uncovering their alleged plans to target LGBTQ+ bars in Michigan. 8 people in total so far have been arrested in connection with that investigation. Anthony?
Thank you, Brian. Appreciate it. Other news, a weekend food drive in Oak Park. It took an unexpected turn over the weekend when neighbors say federal agents showed up at a Girl Scout food drive. A local lawmaker confirms with Fox 32 that those agents were indeed in Oak Park. Witnesses say they watched as several cars pulled up with agents in tactical gear inside. Now, we spoke with a man who says the area was caught completely off guard.
And the ICE group showed up and basically interrogated them. There were no people taken away, but you know, it was a confrontation that lasted about 10 minutes.
Community members are now organizing what they are calling a whistle brigade, handing out whistles to sound the alarm if immigration agents are in the area. The idea, they say, is to keep each other aware and to respond peacefully without confrontation.
A federal judge got an up-close look at the Broadview ICE Processing Center on Thursday. That visit followed a class action lawsuit alleging deplorable conditions on site, including clogged toilets, no access to showers, very little food and water, and no contact with attorneys. Last week, as part of this case, a judge ordered the government to fix the situation. Attorneys for the detainees did not speak with us after the tour.
Meanwhile, an independent attorney is challenging the limits that have been placed on protesting hours down at that Broadview ICE facility. Robert Held filed a motion for a preliminary injunction in federal court to stop the enforcement of the village's protest curfew hours. He calls them unconstitutional.
Our constitutional rights are not from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. And I hope that ultimately, the mayor of Broadview, Mayor Katrina Thompson, and a federal judge will very quickly recognize that the executive order was unconstitutional and can be amended.
Held says he is fighting for everyone's right to assemble and be heard when it matters most.
And as we hear conflicting reports about Border Chief Gregory Bovino leaving Chicago, the White House is putting Charlotte, North Carolina on notice that it could be next for an immigration crackdown. A county sheriff there says it could happen as early as this weekend, but the Department of Homeland Security has not confirmed the plan. We're at 6:08 now. It is Friday, so we're super excited heading into the weekend. Mike, what a beautiful look at the city.
Oh, it's gorgeous. We're going to see a lot of sunshine today. Temperatures are going to go crazy. Anthony, you've been, home recovering, and we hope your voice hangs out there. But a couple of days ago, I was afraid to go 60 degrees for the high today. I even chided myself. I said, I'm gutless. I had 58 going. Now, I'm in the mid-60s. Not just a 60. We're talking mid-60s on the way today. But get the kids out to school this morning. They still need a coat. We have temperatures, a few spots are in the 30s, but I think it's 7. We'll be looking at about 42 on average. At noon, already 60 degrees. And that ride home, it's going to feel pretty nice out there, 65 degrees. Maybe the kids have got some sports or something going on in the afternoon hours. It's really going to be nice out there for them and for the adults, too. 41 at Joliet, 40 at Chicago Heights, 42 at Waukegan. It's 43 along the lakefront where Meigs Field used to be, 42 at Valparaiso and also Benton Harbor with 60s on the way. Now, compared with 6 a.m. yesterday, some spots are more than 10 degrees warmer. It is 10 degrees warmer at Aurora, 11 degrees warmer at Midway, 7 degrees warmer at Waukegan. And take a look at what our computer model is throwing up for a number in LaSalle County. Could hit 70 there today.
Wow.
Could hit 70. I'm going to go conservative with 65. I've already taken my number up so much. I'm afraid to go anymore.
All right. Thank you, Mike. Still ahead, a new trade deal that could lower prices for you at the grocery store.
And it is Orange Friday as well. We love seeing your photos every week. We got a new gallery. This week, no exception. Khalil Mack jersey right there. All right, 10 after 6. Keep those photos coming, everybody. We will be right back after this. Hope your Friday morning is off to a great start. Welcome back at 6:13.
We're following some breaking news this morning. Chicago police looking to identify these men in connection to a double homicide in Little Village. It happened last Saturday. There was a robbery near the 3800 block of West 26th Street, and then moments later, police say the robber got into a fight with two other men who he shot and killed. The victims, a 63-year-old man and a 25-year-old man. Anyone with information is asked to call police.
Recent arrests linked to a terror plot in Michigan. They are now being connected to an alleged plot right here in Chicago. According to federal court documents, the 2024 Chicago Pride Parade was targeted in a thwarted ISIS bomb attack. The three suspects were arrested last month after authorities uncovered their alleged plans to target LGBTQ bars in Michigan.
Airlines optimistic they can get back to normal now that the shutdown is over, but it's not clear how soon that will happen. The FAA says it will not have to cut more than 6% of flights because air traffic controller staffing has improved over the last few days. FlightAware reports there have been more than 50 cancellations at O'Hare just this morning.
House lawmakers are speeding toward a vote next week on releasing files related to the sex trafficking investigation into Jeffrey Epstein. This all comes as new documents raise questions about Epstein and his associates, including an email in 2019 where he wrote to a journalist that said President Trump, quote, knew about the girls, end quote. The White House accuses Democrats, though, of selectively leaking the email to smear Trump.
These emails prove absolutely nothing other than the fact that President Trump did nothing wrong. Jeffrey Epstein was a member at Mar-a-Lago until President Trump kicked him out because Jeffrey Epstein was a pedophile and he was a creep.
The president has not been accused of any crimes related to Epstein. Convicted child sex trafficker and Epstein confidant Ghislaine Maxwell has told the Justice Department this summer she never saw any wrongdoing by Trump.
The BBC is apologizing to President Trump for a misleading edit of his January 6th speech. According to the network, its chair sent a personal letter to the White House, but insists there is no basis for a defamation claim. President Trump's lawyer threatened a $1 billion lawsuit earlier this week. BBC's chief and top news executives both resigned.
The Trump administration says it has reached new framework trade agreements with 4 Latin American countries to help with affordability. The administration says it'll ease tariffs on certain foods and imports from Argentina, Ecuador, El Salvador, and Guatemala. This new agreement could lower the price of bananas, coffee, and chocolate. The 4 countries will, though, still face basic tariff fees. These deals could be finalized in the next 2 weeks.
The Department of Justice is suing over a California measure that would likely help Democrats win more seats in the House. Earlier this month, voters overwhelmingly approved Proposition 50, which would redistrict the state's congressional maps. California Governor Gavin Newsom put the issue of redistricting up to the voters after similar moves in Texas that benefit Republicans. That move in Texas is supported by the Trump administration.
All right, 6:16, time to send things back over to Mike Kaplan. Who's upped his high temperature for this Friday. I'm shocked. I'm shocked. Mid-60s, even potentially a 70.
Parts of the area. You get into LaSalle County, maybe somebody's going to Starved Rock. Could be a 70-degree day there. I know, Natalie, you got some family there in LaSalle County.
I know. A shout out to my Aunt Chris and cousin Teresa.
Chris, Teresa, how are you? All right, well, they may be able to enjoy a 70-degree day there. I think most of Chicagoland, we're looking at mid-60s, but boy, we got some beautiful views of our city. Take a look at this shot here, the sun getting ready to come up. We're bathing Millennium Park with sunshine on the way. The reverse view here, looking out over the lake. Look at that sky, just a few high, thin clouds out there. We're going to see a lot of sunshine today. Not a record. We'd have to get in the 70s for that, officially in Chicago. I'm going to go 65 for the high today. Mostly sunny. Southwest winds not at a high speed. A lot of times to get a day like this, you'd need to have that southwest wind at about 20 to 30 miles per hour. That is not going to be the case. Tonight, the low is 56. That's 7 to 8 degrees warmer than the normal high this time of year. There will be a little uptick in cloud cover. Tomorrow, every bit as warm as today, but not as sunny. It will be mostly cloudy. Can't rule out a sprinkle with the actual cold front. Then it'll knock temperatures back Sunday through next week. 2 chances of rain Monday night into Tuesday morning, and then again on Thursday. I see some blinking lights. I see some barely barricades behind Gabriella. What is Sky Fox over there?
Mike, well, Sky Fox, we were thinking that maybe this was a crash on the Eisenhower because we're seeing a lot of slowdowns starting at Des Plaines all the way to around, I don't know, Homan. But it looks like here near Sacramento, there's some late road work being picked up. So just keep that in mind. It was blocking a right lane there, and that's why you're saying a full 45 minutes from Route 390 to the old post office. Right now, your other drive times, 25 minutes on the Kennedy from O'Hare to downtown. Let's call it 30 minutes on the Stevenson, 30 minutes also on the Dan Ryan. And it's because we had an earlier crash in those express lanes. It was near 26th Avenue, but that has been cleared, just some residual delay. I do want to tell you about the CTA Blue Line trains, though, because remember, service was stopped between Grand Avenue and Jefferson Park because of a reported earlier medical emergency at Logan Square Station. Now service has been restored. Just know that there might be some delays for the Blue Line. I'll send it back to you.
All right, Gabby, thank you so much. The federal shutdown may be over, but the consequences remain, from slowed economic growth to political turmoil on Capitol Hill.
Doug Luzader has more from Washington this morning on what comes next.
The doors of the federal government are once again open, and around the country, furloughed federal workers are heading back in.
I enjoy working, so I'm glad to be back. That's all I got to say.
The markets, though, had plenty to say yesterday. A massive sell-off, and beyond skepticism over tech stocks, it was fueled in part by overall economic uncertainty. For one thing, the absence of key economic reports has meant no one's really sure where things are heading.
We will never know what the unemployment rate was in October.
And the president's chief economic advisor says the economy will take a hit from the shutdown.
I think that at the beginning of the quarter, we were expecting a 3 to 4% GDP number in the fourth quarter, which would be consistent with the numbers over the last 2 quarters. And so now you're looking at something about half of that.
And while the nation's airways are returning to normal and SNAP food benefits will soon be paid out again, the uncertainty extends to Capitol Hill.
That means we need more effective leadership.
Democrats are questioning whether Senator Chuck Schumer can still lead the Democratic caucus after the shutdown failed to achieve their goals.
Leader Schumer had met with his Democratic senators to try to prevent that from happening this time, but now they're walking away pretty empty-handed.
And Doug, there has been a lot of talk over back pay for some of these federal workers. How long is it going to take for them to get all of that?
Well, those checks are going to start going out pretty soon. You know, it kind of depends on the department and so on. As I recall, they said with the control tower, the air traffic controllers, that it would be within 48 hours or so before some initial paychecks would start moving again. You know, just like everything else, like every other aspect of this shutdown, it takes a while to get things through the pipelines.
And then with those SNAP benefits, Doug, we're hearing that people will have their cards, their EBT debit cards, loaded by November 20th. Is that kind of the same situation nationwide, or is that still state by state?
Well, I assume that's a state-by-state issue. I mean, these are programs funded by the federal government, but administered by the states. So the states have some flexibility in terms of how those things are paid out. And, you know, different states handled the shutdown differently.
All right, Doug Luzader in Washington for us. As always, we thank you, sir. Have a great weekend.
Thank you. You too.
All right, 6:21 back here in Chicago. There is a new warning about eating meat, the disease that could be deadly. We'll talk about that just ahead.
I'm Richard.
We have a new warning for meat eaters. Researchers at the University of Virginia School of Medicine have confirmed the nation's first death linked to a meat allergy spread by ticks. You may have heard of this before. Last year, a New Jersey man died after eating a steak dinner along with a hamburger while camping. His wife asked the school to review the autopsy that listed the cause as a sudden unexplained death. The 47-year-old man had about a dozen tick bites that turned out to be from the Lone Star tick larva.
Two families are suing the makers of By Heart infant formula after their babies were sickened by botulism. One child, 4 months old, spent weeks in the hospital. The federal lawsuits claim that this formula was defective and that the company was negligent. Families are seeking compensation for medical costs and emotional distress.
Hemp-derived drinks and products like Delta 8 and 9 weed have been banned for good. A loophole in a farm bill that Congress passed years ago left out any regulation. So businesses started operating in legal limbo while state and city lawmakers tried and failed to put any regulations on them. These are products, that you can buy at gas stations, things like that, convenience stores. Businesses that produce these products now have 1 year to cease operations before they become illegal.
The goal here is to keep our children safe. That really is my #1 goal about regulating intoxicating hemp. And when it's available everywhere and it's got names like Skittles with a Z on the end and it looks the same as the Skittles, the candy, it's just not right. And I have been disappointed that the industry here has been unwilling to accept proper regulation. So now we'll end up at the table talking about how best to move forward.
Meantime, the hemp used to make clothing and other materials is still legal.
All right, despite the potentially mid-60s today, everybody get ready to lace up those ice skates. Skating ribbon at Maggie Daley Park opens for the season today. Skating sessions, 2 hours, and to sign up for reservations, head to our website, fox32chicago.com. I guess here's hoping the weather holds up for this. Mike Kaplan, I don't see ice really holding itself today.
It's going to require a lot of refrigeration.
Yes.
To that ice to keep that going here with sunshine and 60s on the way. Not just today, but also tomorrow. There is a little more skate-worthy weather on the way coming up next week. I'll show you the 7-day here in just a little bit.
All right, thank you, sir. We will see you very shortly. It is Orange Friday, everybody. You've been sending in these photos. Look at that. Was that the entrance tunnel at Soldier Field?
It could have been. It looked like a winter wonderland to me, but great photos.
On-field photos. Keep them coming, everybody. We love your Bears pride. There it is, right there. We'll be right back with more here on Good Day right after this.
Go start my day right. Remember.
Welcome back to Good Day Chicago. It is now 6:30.
All right, we appreciate you joining us this morning. Here's a couple of the stories we are following for you. Chicago police, they are looking for this man, actually two, if you look at your screen here, in connection to a double homicide that happened in Little Village. This happened last Saturday. There was a robbery right near the 3800 block of West 26th Street. Moments later, police say the robber got into a fight with two other men who he shot and killed. The victims, a 63-year-old man and a 25-year-old man. Anyone with information is asked to call police.
Recent arrests linked to a terror plot in Michigan are now being connected to an alleged plot in Chicago. According to federal court documents, the 2024 Chicago Pride Parade was targeted in a thwarted ISIS bomb attack. The three suspects were arrested last month after authorities uncovered their alleged plans to target LGBTQ bars in Michigan.
Airlines are optimistic that they can get back to normal now that the shutdown is over, but it is not clear how soon that's going to happen. The FAA says it'll not have to cut more than 6% of flights because air traffic controller staffing has actually improved over the last few days. FlightAware reports that there have been more than 50 cancellations at O'Hare this morning, so heads up there. All right, will the weather get in the way of any travel plans? Let's check in with Mike Kaplan for the answer.
Although, interestingly, California getting some rain. Parts of the Golden State out there getting rain. So my son actually flying home from San Diego today. Hopefully his flight will not be delayed. But locally, I cannot imagine the weather interfering with flight operations at O'Hare or Midway, that's for sure. We have clear skies out there right now. This is our satellite view. You see a little bit of high cloud cover headed south toward the Kankakee River Valley. But boy, it is a gorgeous morning. Let's look here over the planetarium. You see some of those high clouds. You see a seagull flying out there. Today, we are headed for high temperatures. It'll get into the mid-60s at least. But it's still kind of chilly out there now. We've got 40 at Joliet, 39 at Kankakee, O'Hare 44, Woodstock 43, Valparaiso 42, and in Benton Harbor it is also 42 degrees. All right, let's get a check from Gabriella of what the traffic situation looks like. Skyfox is over which expressway?
Mike, Skyfox is over near the split, near 95th. So where I-57 and the Bishop Ford meet to go up on the Dan Ryan. It's a little slow per usual this time of morning as you approach 95th, but just add a couple minutes to your trip. Nothing those people coming from the south side aren't used to. But on the Dan Ryan, you're going to start to slow down your Garfield Boulevard all the way really into the city. We had an earlier crash there in the express lanes at 26. I mean, much earlier this morning, but it doesn't seem like it's been able to recover. So still 32 minutes from 95th to the Burn interchange. We're now at 35 minutes on the Stevenson, still at 50 minutes on the Eisenhower from Route 390 to the old post office. That's not very Friday light, but it's due to that overnight road work that's late to get picked up. It's blocking still right lane over near Sacramento that we're just over. In 35 minutes for your inbound trip on the Kennedy from O'Hare to downtown. Starting to be heavy right off of O'Hare as you approach the junction there. Natalie, back to you.
Gabby, we want to get back to that breaking news now. Chicago police looking to identify two men in connection to a double homicide in Little Village. This happened last Saturday. There was a robbery near the 3800 block of West 26th Street. Moments later, police say the robber got into a fight with two other men who he shot and killed. The victims, a 63-year-old man and a 25-year-old man. Anyone with information is asked to call police. The long government shutdown may be over, but for travelers, the impact of all those flight reductions may not be.
All right, we're checking in with Roseanne Tellez, who is live at O'Hare with a look inside the terminal. Roseanne, how's it looking out there?
It's a very busy day at O'Hare, and I think people are feeling a collective sense of relief. Federal mandates, though, are still in effect, which means flight reductions remain at 6%. But at least they're not going up to 10% as they were supposed to, because those air traffic controllers are returning to their jobs after all those sick calls during the shutdown. To put this in perspective, on any given day, flight reductions usually you see about 2% of flights canceled, but last Sunday, in the middle of all of this mess, 10% were. So even though essential workers are now getting paid, just be aware the impact of the flight reductions all week could still impact your travel plans. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy said safety is still a top priority, so they will resume normal operations only when they're certain we're moving in the right direction. We talked to some Notre Dame hockey players relieved to hear their trip to Florida was still a go.
We're going to get there no matter what. You know, we're going to find a way at the end of the day. If we couldn't get on the plane, we were going to drive. So it was going to be okay.
And you get to go to Florida.
We do. It's a big plus, you know. Like if we were going to Wisconsin, probably not going. But Florida, I mean, it's going to be a good weekend. So.
Yeah, they weren't too worried about having to cancel that kind of a trip. Well, here at O'Hare this morning, we're seeing 52 cancellations. There are 9 cancellations at Midway, so things are getting off to a pretty good, but still busy start. Roseanne Tejas, Fox 32, back to you.
Thank you, Roseanne. Federal workers have started heading back to the office in Chicago. A senior Trump administration official says agencies have been directed to issue back pay as soon as possible. Most of the government will run on autopilot through January 30th, but Congress is still trying to finish its funding work. Depending on how that goes, we could see another government shutdown.
All right, with this past shutdown now over in the rearview mirror, Illinois families will start to see SNAP benefits restored starting today. They will get their full benefits by November 20th. Nearly 2 million people in our state do use the food assistance program. Benefits had been delayed because the Trump administration did not use emergency funds to pay for it.
To a developing story we've been following, civil rights activist Jesse Jackson remains hospitalized this morning. This is related to a rare neurological condition. The Rainbow Push Coalition says he's been dealing with this for more than a decade after his Parkinson's diagnosis. In a statement, the organization says, quote, "We are grateful for the medical team at Northwestern Hospital. Reverend Jackson is receiving appropriate treatment. They will continue to monitor his progress and well-being to ensure the best possible care and support."
Recent arrests linked to a terror plot in Michigan do have a connection to an alleged plot right here in Chicago. Brian joins us now with these new developments. Brian?
According to federal court documents, the 2024 Chicago Pride Parade was targeted by ISIS in a foiled bomb attack. 3 men from Dearborn, Michigan were indicted on Thursday. According to court documents, they allegedly scouted locations to attack from Michigan to Chicago and in an online chat group. One of the members of the group posted about conducting an attack on the Chicago Pride Parade on June 8th of 2024. Authorities arrested the men on Halloween after uncovering their alleged plans to target LGBTQ+ bars in Michigan. So far, 8 people have been arrested in connection with that investigation. Anthony?
All right, Brian, thank you, sir. Appreciate it. A weekend food drive in Oak Park took an unexpected turn over the weekend when neighbors say that federal agents showed up at a Girl Scout food drive. Local lawmakers confirmed with Fox 32 that those agents were indeed in Oak Park. Witnesses say they watched as several cars pulled up with agents in tactical gear inside. We did speak with a man who says the area was caught completely off guard.
And the ICE group showed up and basically interrogated them. There were no people taken away, but you know, it was a confrontation that lasted about 10 minutes.
Community members are now organizing what they are calling a whistle brigade. They are handing out whistles to sound the alarm if immigration agents are in the area. The idea, they say, is to keep each other aware and to respond peacefully without confrontation.
A federal judge got an up-close look at the Broadview ICE Processing Center on Thursday. This visit followed a class-action lawsuit alleging deplorable conditions on site, including clogged toilets, no access to showers, very little food and water, and no contact with attorneys. Last week, as part of this case, a judge ordered the government to fix all of that. Attorneys for the detainees did not speak with us after the tour. All right, 6:39 now, and we want to send it back over to Mike Kaplan. We are so, I feel like we need those like confetti poppers. You know, it's like you pull the string because we're so excited about the forecast.
It's something. I tell you what, this is going to be an absolutely spectacular day. You'd be happy with this maybe, you know, in September, too. Sun's coming up right now, and you're going to see it all day long. I've mentioned the possibility of a 70 somewhere in Chicagoland today, and it may happen. Maybe you get close to 70 at Morris and Minooka and Gardner, Verona, LaSalle, Ottawa. It's going to be really warm there, but anywhere in Chicagoland, even on the formerly snow-covered plains of northwest Indiana, you're good for low to mid-60s there today. Let's say 64 at Maryville. That's my number for the official high today, 65 degrees at O'Hare, but maybe we overachieve. Now, tomorrow, it's going to be just as warm, but it will not be as sunny. It's going to be a cloudier day, but we may end up with a 66 tomorrow. 64 at Chicago's lakefront. You'll be in the mid-60s in northwest Indiana. 2 60-somethings back-to-back, but then we start to see a little bit of a change. This is our futurecast. Now, earlier, the futurecast was showing sunny skies today, still does, but it was also showing something tomorrow morning that I disagreed with. It was showing lake effect rain coming into northwest Indiana. Let's see whether the model now agrees with me. It does. It has taken that rain out of the forecast. I was really questioning what was going on there. Definitely some more cloud cover tomorrow, but temperatures every bit as mild as today, back-to-back mid to maybe upper 60s. Natalie?
Thank you, Mike. Plenty more to come here on Good Day Chicago, including a new lawsuit over the Byheart infant formula botulism cases. Plus, there's a new warning about a deadly disease that you can get from eating meat. What you should know to protect yourself. First, though, we break down the new trade deal on the table and what it could mean for you the next time you're at the grocery store. We'll be right back.
Fox 30.
Welcome back. We are following some breaking news this morning.
This involves a double homicide in Little Village. Chicago police looking to identify 2 men in connection to the crime. It happened last Saturday. There was a robbery near the 3800 block of West 26th Street. Moments later, police say the robber got into a fight with 2 other men who he shot and killed. The victims, a 63-year-old man and 25-year-old man. Anyone with information is asked to call police.
Recent arrests linked to a terror plot in Michigan are now being connected to an alleged plot here in Chicago. According to federal court documents, the 2024 Chicago Pride Parade was targeted in a since thwarted ISIS bomb attack. The 3 suspects were arrested last month after authorities uncovered their alleged plans to target LGBTQ bars in Michigan.
Airlines optimistic they can get back to normal now that the shutdown is over. But it's not clear how soon that's going to happen. The FAA says it'll not have to cut more than 6% of flights because those air traffic controllers and the staffing that is improved over the last few days. FlightAware reports there have been more than 50 cancellations, though, already at O'Hare this morning.
House lawmakers, meantime, speeding toward a vote next week on releasing files related to Jeffrey Epstein. This comes as new documents raise questions about Epstein and his associates, including a 2019 email he had written to a journalist saying President Trump, quote, knew about the girls, end quote. The White House, though, accusing Democrats of selectively leaking the email to smear Trump.
These emails prove absolutely nothing other than the fact that President Trump did nothing wrong. Jeffrey Epstein was a member at Mar-a-Lago until President Trump kicked him out because Jeffrey Epstein was a pedophile and he was a creep.
The president has not been accused of any crimes related to Epstein. Convicted child sex trafficker and Epstein confidant Ghislaine Maxwell told the Justice Department this summer that she never saw any wrongdoing by Trump.
The BBC is apologizing to President Trump for a misleading edit of his January 6th speech. According to the network, its chair sent a personal letter to the White House, but insists there is no basis for a defamation claim. President Trump's lawyer threatened a $1 billion lawsuit. Earlier this week, BBC's chief and top news executives resigned.
The Trump administration says it has reached new framework trade agreements with 4 Latin American countries to help with affordability. The administration says it'll ease up tariffs on certain foods and imports from Argentina, Ecuador, El Salvador, and Guatemala. This new agreement could lower the price of bananas, coffee, and chocolate. These 4 countries, though, will still face basic tariff fees. The deals could be finalized in the next 2 weeks.
The Department of Justice is suing to a California measure, apparently, to avoid this. It would likely help Democrats win more House seats. Earlier this month, voters overwhelmingly approved Proposition 50 in California, which would redistrict the state's congressional maps. California Governor Gavin Newsom put the issue of redistricting up to a vote after similar moves in Texas that benefit Republicans. That move in Texas is supported by President Trump.
All right, it is Orange Friday, not just Friday, Orange
Friday.
Yeah, I got this pocket
right.
square for a reason, Natalie.
Okay, so you guys have been sending in all of your Bears fan photos. We love every single one of them. Keep them coming.
Good day, Chicago. Yeah, cause you tuned in to Good Day, Chicago. And we about to have a good day, Chicago. You're tuning in at the right time. It's brighten up your day like the skyline. Yeah, you tuned in to Good Day, Chicago. Cause we about to have a good day.
All right, look at that sunrise over the planetarium. Mike,
yes.
This is gilding the lily. You already said 65 degrees. Now we got sunshine as well. You're showing off today.
I'm telling you, this is going to be like bottle it up, and I wish it were like this the whole month of November kind of weather. We have a really warm day on the way, but if you're out there this morning, it's still chilly. We got 41 at Chicago Heights. A few spots are in the 30s. Look at that Woodstock number there with 39. Aurora, Sugar Grove, 36 degrees. 41 at LaSalle, Peru. I'm telling you, you're going to be close to 70 this afternoon. You're not going to get the 70 at Valparaiso. 42 now, but you're headed for the low to mid 60s this afternoon. Really a lovely day on the way. We are south of a warm front that puts us in the, quote, warm sector of this storm system. Tomorrow, we will still be in the warm sector, and there's just not enough moisture for that front to tap into, in my opinion, to squeeze out any kind of measurable rainfall. Front's coming through kind of midday tomorrow, and after the front goes through, temperatures are going to start to slide. So tomorrow night into Sunday, it is going to get chillier, but not a brutal punch of cold air. It is a Canadian high-pressure system, but we're talking about a retreat to normal November temperatures, not anything harsh. And at this point, I'm not expecting any snow in the forecast. 65 today. Southwest winds at 5 to 15. You're going to see a lot of sun. Tonight, clear to partly cloudy, 56 for the low. That is about 7 to 8 degrees warmer than the normal high. 66 tomorrow. And then November comes back. Sunday through next week, couple of storm systems, one Monday night into Tuesday morning, and the other one looks to have a little bit more moisture to work with. That may produce some more soaking rainfall for us on Thursday. All right, Gabriella, you were talking about some late road work that's still out there?
Yeah, it's some overnight work that I guess they're still working on right now. It's the exit ramp from the inbound Eisenhower to Sacramento. Yeah, it was closed for a majority of the overnight hours, and then, of course, that right lane as you approach the exit ramp is also blocked. So it's causing some major delays for folks on the Eisenhower. Yeah, but it looks like they're still trying to paint some lines there. So it might be, I don't know, another hour or so. So 50 minutes right now for inbound trip from Route 390 to the old post office. Traffic starts around 1st Avenue all the way to that first lane blockage. So be ready for that. Or 35 minutes on the Kennedy from O'Hare to downtown. Still heavy from O'Hare all the way to around the junction. 40 minutes on the Stevenson, 30 minutes on the Dan Ryan. Going off our expressways over near I-55. We had an earlier crash. It was International Parkway, and I think this was Bolingbrook Boulevard here, but involved 3 vehicles, including a dump truck. So know that crews are still on scene there. Still talking about the Blue Line. We have delays, significant delays due to that earlier medical emergency at Logan Square. But of course, service continues now, which is a good thing. It was stopped a little earlier. Natalie.
Thank you, Gabby. And we have a new warning for meat eaters. Researchers at the University of Virginia's School of Medicine have confirmed the nation's first death linked to a meat allergy spread by ticks. Last year, a New Jersey man died after eating a steak dinner along with a hamburger while camping. His wife asked the school to review the autopsy that just listed the cause as a sudden unexplained death. The 47-year-old man had about a dozen bites that turned out to be from Lone Star tick larvae.
2 families are suing the makers of ByHeart infant formula after their babies were sickened by botulism. One of the kids, a 4-month-old, spent weeks in the hospital. The federal lawsuits claim the formula was defective and that the company was negligent. Families are seeking compensation for medical costs and emotional distress.
Hemp-derived drinks and products like Delta 8 and 9 weed that you might find at a convenience store have been banned for good. A loophole in a farm bill that Congress passed years ago left out any regulation, so businesses started operating in legal limbo while state and city lawmakers tried and failed to put any regulations on them. Businesses that produce these products now have 1 year to cease operations before they become illegal.
The goal here is to keep our children safe. That really is my #1 goal about regulating intoxicating hemp. And when it's available everywhere and it's got names like Skittles with a Z on the end, and it looks the same as, you know, the Skittles, the candy, it's just not right. And I have been disappointed that the industry here has been unwilling to accept proper regulation. So now we'll end up at the table talking about how best to move forward.
By the way, the hemp used to make clothing and other materials is still legal.
All right, not sure how many people are going to do this today, but you can lace up your ice skates if you want to hit the skating ribbon at Maggie Daley Park during the mid-60s on a Friday, because it opens for the season today. Skating sessions are 2 hours, and to sign up for reservations, just go to our website, fox32chicago.com.
We've got plenty more Good Day Chicago ahead for you. Keep it right here.
I'm Richard.
It is a tough job market for young people entering the workforce. The unemployment rate for young adults is now at a 9-year high. Those new entrants, many of them Gen Z, are blaming artificial intelligence. According to a website called Jobber, 77% of Gen Zers say it is a top priority to choose a career not easily replaced by automation. But for some jobs, the competition from AI will just get tougher.
A new Bank of America analysis shows that 1 out of 4 households are living paycheck to paycheck right now. So that means a person's necessary spending exceeds 95% of their income. According to this data, slow wage growth, rising costs, and dependence on weekly paychecks are all contributing to this problem.
The IRS is increasing how much you can put away for retirement each year. Starting next year, the 401k limit is going to go up by $1,000 to a total of $24,500. The individual retirement account limit is going up $500 to $7,500. Catch-up contributions are going up as well.
Verizon says it is getting ready to cut about 15,000 jobs. The telecommunications giant is looking to cut costs, with former PayPal leader and Newark, New Jersey native Dan Schulman recently installed as CEO. 200 Verizon stores will be shifted into franchised operations. The cuts will take place in the next week. Unionized workers are not expected to be affected by these layoffs.
The U.S. stock market is looking to rebound after one of its worst days of the year. Nvidia and other AI stocks just kept dropping on worries their prices shot too high. I mean, it was horrible. I remember yesterday on the noon show, Anthony, we checked stocks. They were down like over 600 points.
Yikes.
It was crazy. So stocks also fell as traders worry the Federal Reserve may not deliver another rate cut next month.
Good Day Chicago at 7 starts now.
All right now at 7 o'clock, we are following breaking developments in the investigation into a robbery that turned into a deadly double shooting.
The FBI stops an attempted attack on the Chicago Pride Parade. We're going to tell you the other major investigation the suspects are connected to.
And the government is moving, but our airports, in some cases, is at a standstill. Live at O'Hare, we are with what you need to know heading into the weekend.
And let's take you outside this morning as we watch the sunrise. A good dose of sunshine to kick off the weekend.
Indeed. All right. Thank you for joining us here. Hope your Friday morning's off to a great start. You're not going to have any complaints about the local weather situation.
Our weather complaint department is closed.
Closed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
Good to
sorry
know.
if you had some gripes. We are not answering those today. We've got sunshine, hardly any wind, and temperatures that are going to be way above normal. Quite a turnaround from what we had on Monday when it was snowing out there and a nightmare. All right, so get outside and enjoy it. It is going to be an absolutely beautiful day today. Your dogs are going to love it too. We have temperatures headed way into the 60s. 48 at 9 already, pretty pleasant out there with that sunshine. At noon, warming up. I think we'll be 60 degrees already. And then mid-60s this afternoon with a few of us getting into the upper 60s. I've been showing a computer model that's got a 70 popping up well southwest of the city. We'll see whether that happens. Skies are clear. O'Hare right now, 44 with a light south-southwest wind at only 3 miles per hour. This is not going to be one of those days where, yeah, it's 65, but the wind nearly blew me over. That's not going to be the deal. 39 at Joliet, 41 at Waukegan, 44 at Maryville. Everybody headed for at least the mid-60s. Let's get a traffic update now from TV's own Natalie Baumke.
That's right. Why they hand this to me, I don't know, Mike. All right, let's check a few things for you. First of all, the big headline with traffic is Blue Line services running with delays throughout the city today because of an earlier medical emergency at the Logan Square stop. So take note of that. If you take the Union Pacific Northwest line in today, one of their trains is not operating due to mechanical delays, or mechanical issues. So that could cause some delays. Two things I want to mention on your interstates. First of all, the Eisenhower inbound at Sacramento. We've got a lot of stop and go traffic around that area because of some road construction that is lingering there this morning. And then another one that's off the interstates but worth mentioning. This is Joliet Road near the Romeo and Lamont area. It looks like there's a multi-vehicle accident there. Let's check those travel times. And they continue to build this morning. On the Kennedy coming in from the big airport, 40 minutes. The Eisenhower Route 390 to downtown, 50 minutes. On the Stevenson, I-355 to the Drive, 40 minutes. And on the Dan Ryan coming in from 95th, 30 minutes. Well, the long government shutdown could be over, but for travelers, the impact of all those flight reductions is not.
Yes, so we are checking in now with Roseanne, who is live at O'Hare with a look inside the terminal.
Well, after dealing with federally mandated flight reductions all week, the people we've talked to at O'Hare this morning are pleased to hear air traffic controllers are back on the job after a slew of sick calls during the shutdown. Flight reductions do remain at 6%. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy saying safety is still a top priority and they'll resume normal operations once they're certain we're moving in the right direction. Katie Nastro with Going.com is cautiously optimistic.
So we want people to be aware that through the weekend into early next week, it is likely that you still could see impacts in the way of flights being canceled as well as some delays.
Our flight was originally scheduled for the evening, so we try to do it early, so, with a better chance of getting out early.
And it's all systems go.
Yes.
Have a good time. Here at O'Hare with 52 flight cancellations planned and 9 at Midway, the weekend is getting off to a pretty good start, but it is filling up at the airport as always. At O'Hare Airport, Roseanne Tejas, Fox 32, Chicago.
Federal workers have started heading back to the office in Chicago. A senior Trump administration official says agencies have been directed to issue back pay as soon as possible. Most of the government will run on autopilot through January 30th, but Congress is still trying to finish its funding work. And depending on how that goes, we could see another government shutdown.
With this shutdown over, Illinois families will start to see their SNAP benefits restored starting today. They will get their full benefits by November 20th. Nearly 2 million people in our state use the food assistance program. Benefits were delayed, though, because the Trump administration didn't use emergency funds to pay for it.
To a developing story now that we've been following. Civil rights activist Jesse Jackson remains hospitalized this morning. This is related to a rare neurological condition. The Rainbow Push Coalition says he has been dealing with this condition for more than a decade after his Parkinson's diagnosis. In a statement, the organization says, quote, "We are grateful for the medical team at Northwestern Hospital. Reverend Jackson is receiving appropriate treatment. They will continue to monitor his progress and well-being to ensure the best possible care and support."
Recent arrests linked to a terror plot in Michigan have a connection to an alleged plot in Chicago. Checking in now with Brian Jackson, who joins us here in studio with these new developments.
Well, according to federal court documents, the 2024 Chicago Pride Parade was targeted by ISIS in a foiled bomb attack. 3 men from Dearborn, Michigan were indicted on Thursday. According to those court documents, they allegedly scouted locations to attack from Michigan to Chicago. In an online chat group, one of the members of the group posted about conducting an attack on the Chicago Pride Parade on June 8th of 2024. Authorities arrested the men back on Halloween after uncovering their alleged plans to target LGBTQ bars in Michigan. So far, 8 people have been arrested in connection with that investigation. Anthony?
Thank you, Brian. A weekend food drive in Oak Park took an unexpected turn over the weekend when neighbors say that federal agents showed up at a Girl Scout food drive. A local lawmaker confirms with Fox 32 that those agents were in Oak Park. Witnesses say they watched as several cars pulled up with agents in tactical gear inside. We spoke with a man who says the area was caught completely off guard.
And the ICE group showed up and basically interrogated them. There were no people taken away, but you know, it was a confrontation that lasted about 10 minutes.
Community members are now organizing what they are calling a whistle brigade. They're handing out whistles to sound the alarm if immigration agents are in the area. The idea here, they say, is to keep each other aware and to respond peacefully without confrontation.
A federal judge got an up-close look at the Broadview ICE processing facility on Thursday. This visit followed a class-action lawsuit alleging deplorable conditions on site, including clogged toilets, no access to showers, very little food and water, and no contact with attorneys. Last week, as part of this case, a judge ordered the government to fix it. Attorneys for the detainees did not speak with us about what they saw after the tour.
Meantime, an independent attorney is challenging the limits that have been placed on protest hours right outside that Broadview ICE facility. Robert Held filed a motion for a preliminary injunction in federal court to stop the enforcement of the village's protest curfew hours. He calls them unconstitutional.
Our constitutional rights are not from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. And I hope that ultimately, the mayor of Broadview, Mayor Katrina Thompson, and a federal judge will very quickly recognize that the executive order was unconstitutional and can be amended.
Held says he is fighting for everyone's right to assemble and be heard when it matters most.
As we hear conflicting reports about the border chief Greg Bovino leaving Chicago, the White House is putting Charlotte, North Carolina on notice. It could be next for an immigration crackdown. A county sheriff there says it could happen as early as this weekend, but the Department of Homeland Security has not confirmed the plan. All right, let's take a live look over Wrigley Field this weekend. Fox's Big Noon Kickoff will be there this weekend for the big game between Northwestern and Michigan football. So, yes, they will be playing football once again at Wrigley Field.
Yeah, stage is set right there. All right, go Cats. There's a new trade deal on the table that could lower prices for you. We're going to talk about which groceries could cost less coming up.
Maybe Mike has something to say about that.
That's right. Apples, bananas, and I have no clue what's going on. But, you know, the Bears used to play football at Wrigley Field back in the day when Irv Kupcinet used to call those games. All right, we have, listen, look at, they could play baseball there today. It's so nice at Wrigley Field. We have gorgeous weather on the way, plenty of sunshine out there. Temperatures are going to be warming up big time today. That's a view from Sky Fox. How about a ground level shot here, looking over Millennium Plaza. Cloudgate looking good there. The sky absolutely cloud free right now. Glinting sunshine off our skyscrapers. It's really nice, but look, it's still chilly this morning. We've got a few spots in the 30s. Joliet, for example, 39, even as far south as Kankakee, it's 39. In the city, kind of low to mid 40s. 44 at O'Hare and Midway. Gary, you've got 46 degrees. 35 at Rockford and DeKalb, but despite those 30-somethings, there's a 30-degree warm-up in store for those areas today, and that includes LaSalle, Peru. It's 39 now. I wouldn't be surprised to see highs there flirting with 70 degrees this afternoon. Incredible. Everybody's going to see plenty of sunshine. I'm going to go with 65 for the official high today. Sunshine, not windy. Winds will be out of the southwest at about 5 to 15 miles per hour. Tonight, a little bit of cloud cover sneaking in late, but in general, no worse than partly cloudy. 56 degrees for the low. Normal high this time of year is in the upper 40s, just to give you a little point of reference. So let's check out the 7-day forecast here. There are a couple of chances for rain. One is Monday night into Tuesday morning. I think temperatures should be just warm enough that stays liquid. Then on Thursday, some rain coming in here as we enjoy a little bit more November-ish weather after these next 2 warm days. Anthony, Natalie?
We'll enjoy while it's here. Mike, thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Well, there is a new trade deal on the table that could lower prices for us. We're going to tell you which grocery. We'll see if Mike is right about apples.
I figured we'd give him a shot. You know, he might know more than he leads off to know. Okay.
He knows a lot. Yeah, that's coming up. And it is Orange Friday, everybody. We hope your Friday's off to a great start. Sending in these pictures. We always appreciate it. New galleries each week. Y'all look great in your Bears gear. Keep the photos coming. And go Bears. We'll be right back.
Remember.
Good morning and welcome back to Good Day Chicago. Hope your Friday morning's off to a great start at 7:14.
We are following some breaking news this morning. Chicago police looking to identify 2 men in connection to a double homicide in Little Village. This happened last Saturday. There was a robbery near the 3800 block of West 26th Street. And then moments later, police say the robber got into a fight with 2 other men who he shot and killed. The victims include a 63-year-old and 25-year-old man. Anyone with information is asked to call police.
Recent arrests linked to a terror plot in Michigan are now being connected to an alleged plot in Chicago. According to federal court documents, the 2024 Chicago Pride Parade was targeted in a now thwarted ISIS bomb attack. The 3 suspects were arrested last month after authorities uncovered their alleged plans to target LGBTQ bars in Michigan.
Airlines optimistic they can get back to normal now that the shutdown is over. That's good news, but it's not clear how soon that will happen. The FAA says it will not have to cut more than 6% of flights because air traffic controller staffing has improved over the last few days. FlightAware reports, though, there have already been 50 cancellations at O'Hare this morning.
House lawmakers, they are speeding toward a vote next week on releasing files related to the sex trafficking investigation into Jeffrey Epstein. This comes as new documents raise questions about Epstein and his associates, including a 2019 email he wrote to a journalist that said President Donald Trump, quote, knew about the girls, end quote. Now, the White House accuses Democrats of selectively leaking the email to smear Trump.
These emails prove absolutely nothing other than the fact that President Trump did nothing wrong. Jeffrey Epstein was a member at Mar-a-Lago until President Trump kicked him out because Jeffrey Epstein was a pedophile and he was a creep.
The president has not been accused of any crimes related to Epstein. Convicted child sex trafficker and Epstein confidant Ghislaine Maxwell told the Justice Department over the summer that she never saw any wrongdoing by Trump.
The BBC is apologizing to President Trump for a misleading edit of his January 6th speech. According to the network, its chair sent a personal letter to the White House, but is insisting here there's no basis for a defamation claim. President Trump's lawyer threatened a $1 billion lawsuit. Earlier this week, BBC's chief and top news executives resigned.
Trump administration says it has reached a new framework trade agreement with 4 Latin American countries to help with affordability. The administration says it'll ease tariffs on certain foods and imports from Argentina, Ecuador, El Salvador, and Guatemala. And this new agreement could wind up lowering the prices of bananas, coffee, and chocolate. Now, these 4 countries will still face basic tariff fees. The deals could be finalized in the next 2 weeks.
The Department of Justice is suing to stop a California measure that would likely help Democrats win more seats in the House. Earlier this month, voters overwhelmingly approved Prop 50, which would redistrict the state's congressional maps. California Governor Gavin Newsom put the issue of redistricting up to voters after similar moves in Texas that benefit Republicans. That move in Texas is supported by President Trump.
All right, 7:17, time to check back in with Mike Kaplan for the good news about this Friday as the sun comes up. And we're warming up today, aren't we, sir?
We are. You know, there's some 30s in a few suburbs out there right now, but this is going to be a big and quick warm-up today without dealing with strong winds. A lot of times you have to get, a southwest wind at 25, 30 miles an hour to get these 60-something days this time of year. That's not going to be the case today. Absolutely gorgeous there, looking out over the Bean. Still a little bit of color in some of the maple trees out there, but we're definitely past peak. Because of the precipitation that fell Sunday into Monday, the new drought map shows some improvement, particularly northwest Indiana and south of the city, and also over the heart of the metro, where right now it is normal for ground moisture. There are still plenty of areas, however, abnormally dry, in moderate drought, or in this darker orange color, parts of Kendall, Grundy, LaSalle County. That is where severe drought is still ongoing. There is a little bit of rain in the forecast. I'll show you the 7-day here in a little bit. Let's get through today. No rain at all. Mostly sunny. Gorgeous, 65. That's my number for O'Hare. Few spots are going to beat that. Southwest winds at only 5 to 15 miles per hour. 7-day forecast, just as warm tomorrow, but it will be cloudier. There's going to be a cold front coming through here, and that high for the day may happen, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and temperatures may tail off just a little bit as that cold front comes through. Sunday morning, 38. We'll hit 50 for the high. Lots of sunshine. Sunday, not a bad day. It will be a little bit windier. Then here are our 2 chances for rain. Monday night into Tuesday morning, and then again on Thursday with high temperatures generally in the mid to upper 40s, which is actually normal for this time of year. But a pair of 6 60-somethings on the way today and tomorrow. Let's check those travel times. Natalie.
Okie dokie. We've got some thick traffic coming in on the Eisenhower around Sacramento Boulevard because there's still some construction ongoing there from overnight that has not wrapped up. The other incident I want to draw your attention to is just south of I-55 on Joliet Road. There's a multi-vehicle accident right between Romeoville and Lamont there, so that's something we're watching. If you take the Union Pacific Northwest Metro line in today, one of those trains is not operating. Make sure it's not yours. And then Blue Line service is running throughout the city with delays because of an earlier medical emergency at the Logan Square stop. Let's check those travel times. On the Kennedy, coming in from the big airport, 45 minutes. On the Eisenhower, this is that area we were talking about that's thick because of those construction delays. We're looking at about 50 minutes coming in from 390. On the Stevenson I-355 to the Drive, 40 minutes. And even the Dan Ryan is seeing some delays this morning, coming in from 95th, 35 minutes. Anthony.
All right, thank you, Natalie. Plenty more to get to here on Good Day Chicago. AI could change the holiday shopping season. We're going to take a look at the tech's impact on the economy. Plus, there's a new warning about a deadly disease you can get just from eating meat. What you should know to protect yourself. But first, we are speaking with a professor at North Central College about rising tensions between the U.S. and Venezuela. Stay with us.
Goodman Theater.
.23, and right now the most advanced aircraft carrier the U.S. has in its fleet is on its way to Venezuela, and there are concerns it could further escalate tensions there. Professor William Muck with North Central College, political science professor, joins us now. We kind of wanted to dig into this topic a little deeper, see, is there a previous precedent that has been set for this? In your opinion, or from what you've heard, what is the U.S. saying about why it carried out these recent attacks near Venezuela? Let's kind of set it up that way for people who have not been following the story closely.
Yeah, well, the president has talked a lot about drug running, right? And cracking down on the cartels, and that this is going after the danger of drugs coming to the United States. The complicating factor is that Trump talks a lot about fentanyl, but Venezuela isn't connected to fentanyl. Venezuela has a cocaine issue, but not fentanyl. So it's not entirely clear what the motivation is, and I think that's what's interesting about all this. You were talking about precedent, and I was thinking about that, and maybe we have to go back to the 1970s and 1980s of the Cold War, where the United States sort of, was swaggering down in Latin America and Central America, showing its power. So it feels like a sort of throwback to an earlier time.
I was just doing a quick search here because I wanted to see how many strikes to date there have been on these alleged drug running boats from Venezuela to the United States. It looks like there have been 20 strikes so far. At least 80 alleged smugglers have been killed in these strikes. How is Venezuela reacting to this, and why does it, well, I mean, it might be obvious, why does it see them as a serious threat to their country?
Yeah, well, because a couple things going on there. One, you're absolutely right. The number of attacks have gone up, and there are some real concerns about the legality of that as well. But I think it's the United States demonstrating that it is taking this very, very seriously, and not just the attacks itself, but sending this aircraft carrier. I mean, the United States is putting its military might in the region, and this has Venezuela worried, right? And I think rightfully so. And you've got the most powerful military in the world right off your coast. You're a little worried about what that might be. Again, the question is, what is the goal of this? Is it simply to stop the movement of those drugs into the United States, or is it about regime change? Is it about getting rid of President Maduro, who again is an awful human rights violator, bad guy? But what is the ultimate goal of the Trump administration in doing so? Part of that might be simply to scare him, right? So some of this may be swaggering, putting some pressure on him to see if he will flee without any kind of military action.
To the last point that you made there about the human rights violations, I can speak from speaking to law enforcement officers here in the Chicago area who have had a lot of contact with asylum seekers from Venezuela who have come to the United States because of the human rights violations in that country. Okay, so there have been criticisms that the United States is not following international law with these strikes. What is your opinion on that?
Yeah, I think international law is pretty clear on this. There's a big distinction between crime and war. And if you're engaging in, if you're going after crime, you have to use the law and order process. You have to follow legal precedent. If it's war, then you can target the bad guys, right? And you can kill those individuals. And the critique of the Trump administration is that these are extrajudicial killings, that he's going after individuals engaged in criminal activity, but using warlike tactics to do so. And so I think the Trump administration is probably clearly on the wrong side of law here. Now, the Trump administration doesn't really care about that, right? They framed these individuals as terrorists, and they're going to use a show of force to do so. But international law is pretty clear that you have to have a firm line between criminal activity, where the law is involved, and war, where it's an entirely different dynamic and you can use lethal force.
Well, this is a topic I'm sure that is ongoing, so we will have you back once again. There's a couple other points we could talk about this morning, but we've run out of time. Thanks so much, Professor.
Always good to be here.
When we love seeing you. Have a good weekend. 7:27 now. Hey, Mike.
How about a couple of mid-60s on the way for today and tomorrow, with plenty of sunshine today, not as much sunshine tomorrow. I've got the complete forecast coming up, but it is Orange Friday. You know what that means. Time to showcase you in your Bears gear. Keep those pictures coming. We'll be right back with more Good Day after this.
This
Welcome back. You're watching Good Day Chicago. It is now 7:30.
We appreciate you joining us here on a Friday morning. It's going to be a gorgeous one. Here's a look at some of the headlines we're following for you. Chicago police looking to identify these two men in connection to a double homicide that happened in Little Village on last Saturday. And there was a robbery that happened right near the 3800 block of West 26th Street. Moments after the robbery happened, police say the robber got into a fight with two other men who he shot and killed. The victims, a 63-year-old man and a 25-year-old man. Anyone with information is asked to call police.
Recent arrests linked to a terror plot in Michigan are now being connected to an alleged plot in Chicago. According to federal court documents, the 2024 Chicago Pride Parade was targeted in a thwarted ISIS bomb attack. The three suspects were arrested last month after authorities uncovered their alleged plans to target LGBTQ bars in Michigan. Hey, good news. Airlines optimistic they can get back to normal now that the shutdown is over, but it's not clear how soon that will happen. The FAA says it will not have to cut more than 6% of flights because air traffic controller staffing has improved over the last few days. FlightAware reports, though, there have been more than 50 cancellations at O'Hare this morning.
All right, the federal shutdown may be over, but the consequences remain, from slowed economic growth to political turmoil on Capitol Hill.
Doug Luzader has more from Washington this morning on what comes next.
The shutdown signs are coming down. Museums and federal offices here in Washington are reopening, but this record-setting shutdown has left some marks.
The doors of the federal government are once again open, and around the country, furloughed federal workers are heading back in.
I enjoy working, so I'm glad to be back. That's all I got to say.
The markets, though, had plenty to say yesterday. A massive sell-off, and beyond skepticism over tech stocks, it was fueled in part by overall economic uncertainty. For one thing, the absence of key economic reports has meant no one's really sure where things are heading.
We will never know what the unemployment rate was in October.
And the president's chief economic advisor says the economy will take a hit from the shutdown.
I think that at the beginning of the quarter, we were expecting a 3 to 4% GDP number in the fourth quarter, which would be consistent with the numbers over the last two quarters. And so now you're looking at something about half of that.
And while the nation's airways are returning to normal and SNAP food benefits will soon be paid out again, the uncertainty extends to Capitol Hill.
That means we need more effective leadership.
Democrats are questioning whether Senator Chuck Schumer can still lead the Democratic caucus after the shutdown failed to achieve their goals.
Leader Schumer had met with his Democratic senators to try to prevent that from happening this time, but now they're walking away pretty empty-handed.
While that internal struggle continues, Democrats do think they'll have the upper hand next month when the debate here turns to health care. In Washington, Doug Luzader, Fox News.
Our thanks to Doug for that report. We have a new warning for meat eaters, and it involves ticks. Researchers at the University of Virginia School of Medicine have confirmed the nation's first death linked to a meat allergy spread by ticks. Last year, a New Jersey man died after eating a steak dinner along with a hamburger while camping. His wife asked the school to review the autopsy that listed the cause as a sudden unexplained death. The 47-year-old man had that meat allergy that he acquired from ticks. He had gotten about a dozen tick bites on that camping trip that turned out to be from the Lone Star tick larva.
That is frightening. All right, other news. Two families there are suing the makers of ByHeart infant formula after their babies were sickened by botulism. One of the kids, a 4-month-old, spent weeks in the hospital. The federal lawsuits claim the formula was defective and that the company was negligent. Families are now seeking compensation for medical costs and emotional distress.
Hemp-derived drinks and products like Delta 8 and 9 weed that you might be able to pick up at a convenience store have been banned for good. A loophole in a farm bill that Congress passed years ago left out any regulation, so businesses started operating in legal limbo, while state and city lawmakers tried and failed to put any regulations on those products. Businesses that produce these products now have 1 year to cease operations before they become illegal.
The goal here is to keep our children safe. That really is my #1 goal about regulating intoxicating hemp. When it's available everywhere and it's got names like Skittles with a Z on the end, and it looks the same as, the Skittles, the candy, it's just not right. And I have been disappointed that the industry here has been unwilling to accept proper regulation. So now we'll end up at the table talking about how best to move forward.
The hemp used to make clothing and other materials is still legal.
All right. Get ready to lace up them ice skates, everybody. Skating ribbon at Maggie Daley Park opens for the season today. As Mike Kaplan kind of shakes his head over there, he's looking at the footage. You can skate today, apparently. Sign up for a 2-hour session by going to our website, fox32chicago.com. Will the weather hold up for that? Mike, I think you alluded to the fact they're going to need a lot of refrigeration.
Yes.
Temperatures.
There'll probably be people skating in short sleeves and shorts. It's going to be that kind of a day today and tomorrow. But they can keep that, surface pretty cold out there, I guess, when it's in the 60s. But I wouldn't be surprised to see some puddles on that ice at some point. All right, here's where we are now. It is a chilly, not windy, though. 40 at Joliet, 44 at O'Hare and Midway, 42 at Woodstock. A couple of spots are in the 30s. Rockford and DeKalb in there with mid-30s. 40 at Valparaiso and in Michigan City. You've got clear skies and 45. Temperatures today, now compared with 24 hours ago, quite a bit warmer. About 10 degrees warmer, in fact. It is 10 degrees warmer on the nose at the lakefront, 11 degrees warmer at Gary and Chicago Heights. And we are going to see a warmer afternoon as well, without any impediment from above. The sky is going to be sunny, and we're not going to be fighting gusty winds either. We're in the warm sector of this storm system, which does have a cold sector to it. It's not that cold. It's just kind of a retreat to normal November temperatures. That's going to arrive late tomorrow with, I just don't think there's going to be any measurable precipitation with that. Could somebody see a sprinkle with the front? I suppose that's it. Behind the front, yes, it does cool off, and there's going to be a little bit more in the way of cloud cover tomorrow associated with that front. But look at Sunday. Yeah, it's not going to be as warm, but it's going to be perfectly sunny. And with a temperature close to 50 degrees, that's pretty nice for this time of year. And I think we'll keep the dry conditions going until maybe Monday night. 65 today. Southwest winds will blow at only 5 to 15 miles per hour. Tonight, the low is about 7 to 8 degrees warmer than the normal high. 56 for the low. So we can scurry up to 66 tomorrow ahead of that front. Then it'll only be 50, and then in the 40s as we go through Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of next week with 2 separate storm systems, Monday night into Tuesday morning, and the second one looks to have a little bit more moisture to play with. That one will arrive on Thursday. At 7:38, we're coming right back after this. Oh, I got my pictures. I almost forgot those. This is really cool. Xavier Matesi sent in several pictures of clouds from yesterday. Xavier was in the Mount Prospect area. This is called a fall streak hole, or sometimes called a hole punch cloud. And that is created by aircraft passing over those clouds, and the exhaust actually essentially causes that hole to form as there are little pieces of ice that are falling through there, which is why it's called a fall streak hole. So if you ever see a formation like that, you know that a jet passed overhead fairly recently. That's a great pick, Xavier. Next, look at the beautiful colors of that tree. The tree, according to Kathy Abretsky, survived the snow there in Porter, Indiana. Still sees a little bit of snow on the roof there, but that maple is hanging on quite nicely. Kathy, thanks for that photo. And how about this scene from St. Charles, looking west at the sun going down. Chuck Wood giving us a view there. I love the leaves on the ground in front of that big maple, actually several maples there. That is one beautiful pic there, too. Thank you all for sharing your photos with us. And here is a live picture from Sky Fox as it orbits our lovely city on this fabulous November day. We'll be right back after this.
Welcome back, 7:42. FIFA is getting to use the Kennedy Center for free during the 2026 World Cup. The draw for the tournament will be held at the Kennedy Center. The Washington Post says FIFA won't have to pay a rental fee, and it will interrupt the National Symphony Orchestra's performance schedule. Kennedy Center has seen a sharp decline in ticket sales since it was taken over by President Trump earlier this year.
Washington National Cathedral will host the funeral of former Vice President Dick Cheney on Thursday morning. He served under President George W. Bush and is most known for helping Bush lead the war on terror. He died last week in Wyoming at the age of 84. Secretary of State Marco Rubio says the U.S. will begin denying visas for a variety of chronic health conditions, including obesity, diabetes, heart disease, and cancer. Earlier this month, the State Department warned embassies around the world the U.S. will consider chronic health conditions as a reason to deny entry, citing the cost of treating those conditions.
All right, you might have heard about portable mortgages, but how much do you really know about them? Mike Emanuel tries to explain.
First, it was a 50-year mortgage. Now the Trump administration says it's exploring the idea of portable mortgages as it moves to tackle the housing affordability crisis. The suggestion was floated Wednesday in a social media post by Bill Pulte, the head of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. It would essentially allow homeowners to sell their houses and buy a new one while keeping their original mortgage rate. But some business leaders say it's a bad idea because it's unlikely rates will drop below 6% anytime soon.
We had this small period of 25 years where rates dropped below 5%, and everybody thought that was going to be the future forever. And now we struggle to go back. That will never get there.
The White House wouldn't comment specifically on Pulte's proposal, but in a statement, a spokesperson told Fox News, quote, President Trump is always exploring new ways to improve housing affordability for everyday Americans. It comes just one day after the president floated a different way to lower housing costs, allowing buyers to purchase a 50-year mortgage.
This is a proposal that the president himself has commented on, and it's something that the administration is discussing and seriously looking into.
And the administration says more affordable housing proposals are in the pipeline.
We're going to be making recommendations to the president about the whole suite of housing policies.
The White House is also considering allowing assumable loans where homeowners can take over the seller's mortgage rate. In Washington, Mike Emanuel, Fox News.
Here's a look at what's coming up on Good Day Chicago at 8 and 9. Keep it right here.
And it is Orange Friday, everybody. Keep sending in those photos. Here's a look at some of the photos you guys have been sending in your Bears gear. Keep them coming all season long. We'll be right back after this.
Welcome back to Good Day Chicago. It's now 7:48 as the sun shines off of that bean out there. And Mike Kaplan is here with more sunshine on the way.
This is going to be a remarkable day. It's not a record high. We need to get well into the 70s to challenge that. But you get a day in the mid to upper 60s this time of year without a lot of wind and with total sunshine. I'll take it. This will be a great day to get outside, spend some time maybe with the pups or the kids, whatever. Enjoy it. We've got 48 degrees in a couple hours here. 60 already at noon, and then we'll be in the mid to maybe even upper 60s this afternoon. Still very mild with uninterrupted sunshine. Right now it's clear at O'Hare, not much wind, south-southwest at 3 miles per hour. The wind chill, come on, give me a break. All right, other current temperatures. There are a few spots still in the 30s. This will likely change quickly, though. Aurora 36, DeKalb 37. Pretty much everywhere else in the 40s. 46 at Merrillville and Gary. I think it's 60-something area-wide, with the possible exception maybe parts of Grundy and LaSalle County, where you could tag 70 this afternoon. Cloud cover, a couple of high, thin ones sinking south of the Kankakee River Valley right now. Otherwise, nothing. It is sunshine galore across the board today. Unseasonably mild. Let's call it 65 for the official high at O'Hare, with a southwest wind at 5 to 15. Tonight, we'll pick up a little more cloud cover. We'll go maybe clear to mostly cloudy by daybreak tomorrow. But those clouds and that south wind holding temperatures up. 56 degrees. That's about 20 degrees warmer than the normal low this time of year, and it's warmer than the normal high. So tomorrow, a quick warm up into the mid-60s again ahead of a cold front. There will be more cloud cover tomorrow, and behind the front, it does cool off. Sunday's high only 50. Then we'll be kind of mid to upper 40s next week. Couple of chances for some precip. First Monday night into Tuesday, and then again on Thursday. If I had to pick the time frame that's most likely to be wet, I'm going Thursday with that high of 48 degrees. Anthony, Natalie, back to you.
Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it, sir. Illinois-based State Farm is under investigation in California.
Los Angeles County is investigating it over wildfire insurance claims. Officials say State Farm may have violated California's unfair competition law by delaying, underpaying, or denying claims after the Eaton and Palisades fires. Residents say the delays are blocking recovery efforts. In a statement, State Farm says the county investigation is a distraction from its work in helping customers recover from the dual fire tragedy. You can start putting away more money for retirement next year. IRS is raising the 401k contribution limit to $24,500. And for IRAs, the maximum contribution is $7,500. People 50 and older can contribute more. Even with the IRS raising retirement saving limits, only about 4 in 10 say they are on track to maintain their current lifestyle in retirement.
All right, the second of 2 Major League Baseball pitchers accused of being involved in a betting scandal pleads not guilty. Manuel Clase of the Cleveland Guardians walked out of a federal courtroom in Brooklyn yesterday. He and teammate Luis Ortiz, they are accused of throwing certain pitches at certain times in order to rig bets. Ortiz appeared in court Wednesday. They were released on bond and are required to have GPS monitoring. They are due back in court next month. It looks like many of us are letting AI do our holiday shopping. Accenture, which is some type of personal services company, says 80% of people will use AI tools for shopping. People say they have too many choices. They can't handle the decision paralysis, as it's known. But retail experts say the new AI tools can actually streamline some of those options.
It's helping them with resolving this question around having overwhelming decisions, raising their level of confidence they're actually choosing the right things.
Shoppers aren't planning on slowing down either this holiday season. The survey found that 90% plan to spend as much this year as they did last year.
A lot of people are living a life of pain. A new report finds 1 in 3 people are living with headache disorders. Researchers found it's especially bad for women, who experience more than double the headache-related health problems than men. And while it seems instinctive and helpful to reach for a painkiller, experts say too many are doing that too often, and that can cause something called medication overuse headaches. And maybe 2025, but your kids can bake like it's 1960 again.
Only Kenner's Easy Bake Oven Set makes such delicious cakes, cookies, candies, brownies, pizza, pies, and biscuits. It bakes like magic with 2 ordinary light bulbs and has a special cooling chamber. Easy Bake.
Anything to run that commercial again. And that's the OG Easy Bake Oven from 1963. And now it's back for a new generation. Sam's Club is selling an updated version on its website. It's been revamped to include, quote, heating elements similar to a conventional oven, so no more light bulbs, Anthony, that you can burn your hands on. Parental supervision strongly suggested to prevent burns. The new Easy Bake is selling for roughly $35.
That's not bad. I mean, look how much fun those kids are having in those pictures.
Yes, I used to have, that is the closest I ever got to baking.
Did you really have one?
It was my Easy Bake Oven. I did.
For you,
That's right.
Wow,
The stuff tasted horrible, though. It was just awful.
35 bucks. Okay, this is actually an incredible feat here.
What?
Look at this. This is a Jenga master, okay? Some character in Canada. He has now set a Guinness record.
Whoa.
Knocked it down there, but not before balancing a record 881 blocks on a single block. All right,
No
it took
way.
him 5 hours to build that. Look at that. He's got the balance thing down. Maybe he's got a lot of free time on his hands, but well done, sir. You're in the record books. There it goes.
I like how he tries to catch it.
All right. Do you think your dog's name is unique? We are about to find out. The American Kennel Club has just released its annual list of most popular dog names. No surprise here for the males. All right. Max, Hank, Teddy, Cooper, and Gus. There's controversy because Milo, which had been second place, fell all the way down to the 12th spot.
I associate Milo with cats, not necessarily dogs.
Yeah. I guess that's right now that I think about it, Nat. All right, for female dogs, no surprise here, Luna, Bella, Daisy, Lucy, and Ruby. Those are the most popular names. Ruby made a big jump this year, going from 16 all the way to 5th.
As long as Natalie and Anthony aren't on the list,
They're not
I think
on the
we
list.
are safe.
Yeah.
No doubt one of my faves will be sticking around at the Las Vegas Sphere. The band has added 6 new shows to its residency next year. All of the dates are in June, and there's no doubt you're going to pay a lot to see them. Tickets are at least $180, which might make your bank account a tragic kingdom, some might say.
There you go.
Plenty more Good Day Chicago ahead. Keep it right here.
Welcome to
All right, next time you curse out another driver, make sure it's not some kid first. Get this, an 8-year-old girl in Ohio drove herself to Target. Someone's dash cam caught the kid on the road. A young girl drove more than 11 miles to the Target store where officers found her inside shopping, apparently with a coffee.
No.
Shopping?
Stop.
What?
8 going on 21, I guess. No one was hurt. Fortunately, no charges have been filed.
All right.
8 years old. I don't know where an 8-year-old learns to,
Do any of those things.
do the ignition, brake,
My daughter
follow.
would love to.
And
but-
11 miles. I mean,
And coffee.
I'm
Who at Starbucks would be like, oh, coffee for you? Yeah, sure, here you go.
Yes.
All right. If you happen to be going to Vegas on vacation like one of our directors, you might find it a little less crowded. The Las Vegas Visitors Authority says tourism has fallen 9% this year. People say Vegas is too expensive. Everything in Vegas has gone up. So the only thing staying in Vegas are people living in Vegas.
All right. Well, you might be getting a Christmas bonus you did not expect, and that is because of the settlement AT&T is having to pay out over a data breach. You might get as much as $7,300. Total settlement was $177 million, and it is being divided up among people making claims. At least 72 million people were impacted by the breach. Fox32Chicago.com has everything you need to know about making a claim.
It sounds like science fiction, and it probably still is, but some Chinese tech company says it is a patent for AI to translate pet sounds into human speech. It's in the research phase, so don't expect to hear your cat give you attitude in English anytime soon. However, it's not the only company trying to come up with a pet translator. It sounds like a big seller. And you know, the Weather Girls had a big hit with It's Raining Men, one of my favorite songs. But someone needs to get to work on It's Raining Iguanas. Why, you ask? Because when the temperature falls below freezing in Florida, falling iguana warnings get issued. You never heard that from Mike and Caitlin? Thank God, because with all the other things we have in Chicago, we don't have this. Iguanas shut down in cold temps, and if they're in a tree, well, you might get knocked down by a falling lizard.
Sounded like a rubber toy stuffed with concrete. It's just so weird how his hands are, he's been clenched like this since he fell out of the tree. Yeah. He must have been frozen up there already. So when he fell, he was already comatose.
And don't worry, they are just fine. They're going to come back to life when things heat up.
Good Day Chicago at 8 starts now.
Well, right now at 8 o'clock, a federal judge ordered more than a dozen detainees have to be released from custody. Roseanne Tejas is going to join us live with the very latest there. Also, families across the country are breathing a sigh of relief now that the government shutdown is over and SNAP funding is back online. We're going to tell you when those full benefits are set to roll out.
Wrigley Field will be the setting of a big game this weekend. We are talking to the host of Big Noon Kickoff about the Northwestern Michigan matchup. Let's take you live outside right now. This is the corner of Lake and Michigan, right outside our Fox 32 studios. We're in for some beautiful weather this weekend.
I'm saying good morning now to Caitlin and Cody.
Good morning.
This is unbelievable. We got like mid-60s. Mike was saying 70 down south, perhaps.
Perhaps.
We didn't guarantee it.
Today and tomorrow, fantastic, which, by the way, welcome back. Ian.
Thank you.
On the mend here.
Yes,
on the
indeed.
mend.
Yeah.
Yes, it is going to be a really nice day. It's Friday. Warm temperatures are here. There's no rain in the forecast. And look at this sunshine from our Shed Aquarium camera. Absolutely stunning day today. Temperatures will be fantastic today as well as tomorrow. Tomorrow, a few more clouds than today. But let's talk about your Friday forecast. First of all, regional view of satellite radar shows quiet conditions, clear skies from Chicago. Points west, north, south, northwest Indiana. You're looking good, too. Temperatures are in the 30s and 40s, so it is a little bit cool this morning to be expected. 46 degrees, though, at O'Hare. Not terrible. 43 at the lakefront, 39 as we get out to our western areas like DeKalb and Aurora, 42 in Morris. Temperatures in northwest Indiana in the mid to upper 40s. Here's your day planner. 58 degrees by 1 p.m., and it is 64 degrees. Tomorrow, if you take a look at this three-day forecast, clouds to start. We're going to have clearing happening as we get into the afternoon, especially. Highs right around 66. Temperatures around 50, though, on Sunday after a cold front passes through. It's going to be gusty on Saturday, too. We could see winds around 20 to 25 miles per hour. We'll take a look at your full forecast ahead. Natalie.
Thank you, Caitlin. We continue to follow a developing story. Chicago police looking to identify two men in connection to a double homicide in Little Village. It happened last Saturday. There was a robbery near the 3800 300 block of West 26th Street. Moments later, police say the robber got into a fight with 2 other men who he shot and killed. The victims, a 63-year-old man and a 25-year-old man. Anyone with information is asked to call police. New this morning, ICE detainees in the Chicago area are expected to be set free today.
A federal judge ordered the release. Roseanne is live in Broadview with details here. Roseanne.
That's right. There's some excitement here in Broadview this morning. It is business as usual for the protesters out here who will begin their protests at 9 o'clock, which is the time that they're permitted. But again, extra excitement because 13 detainees are ordered released today, and hundreds more could be released on home confinement. This is after attorneys argued that detainees were arrested without any legal justification or warrants, and that goes against a 2018 consent decree that ruled immigration agents could not make arrests without a warrant, so-called collateral arrests, like during traffic stops. Well, attorneys argued in court Wednesday that people without criminal histories, unlawfully arrested, should be released, and that applies to hundreds of people who have been detained. Now, the thing is, people ordered released are being held all over the country at this point, so it will be difficult to monitor how this all unfolds today. But attorneys think this is just the tip of the iceberg, and that before it's all over, thousands of people could wind up being released. Now, again, live outside Broadview, the weekly prayer just completed. There's been a prayer group here for decades, and they just finished their prayers. Protests about to begin. All of this as people eagerly await the release of all of these detainees. Back to you in the studio.
Thank you for the update from that facility, Roseanne. And the release of those detainees follows a judge's tour of the Broadview ICE facility.
Brian joins us now with those details and an update on the lawsuits surrounding the protest curfew outside that facility. Brian?
Well, a federal judge got an up-close look at the Broadview ICE processing facility on Thursday. That visit followed a class action lawsuit alleging deplorable conditions on the site, including clogged toilets, no access to showers, very little food and water, and also no contact with attorneys. Last week, as part of this case, a judge ordered the government to fix that. Attorneys for the detainees did not speak with us after the tour. Meanwhile, an independent attorney is now challenging the limits that have been placed on protest hours at that Broadview ICE processing facility. Robert Hell describes himself as an attorney and a community activist. He says that he's filed a motion for a preliminary injunction in federal court to stop the enforcement of the village's protest curfew hours, calling them unconstitutional.
Our constitutional rights are not from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. And I hope that ultimately the mayor of Broadview, Mayor Katrina Thompson, and a federal judge will very quickly recognize that the executive order was unconstitutional and can be amended.
Held says he is fighting for everyone's right to assemble and be heard when it matters the most. Now, as we hear conflicting reports about Border Chief Gregory Bravino leaving Chicago, the White House is putting Charlotte, North Carolina on notice that it could be next for an immigration crackdown. The county sheriff says it could happen as early as this weekend, but so far the Department of Homeland Security has not confirmed that plan. Anthony?
All right, Brian, thank you, sir. Federal workers, meantime, have started heading back to the office here in Chicago. A senior Trump administration official says agencies have been directed to issue back pay ASAP. Most of the government will run on autopilot through January 30th, but Congress is still trying to finish its funding work. Depending on how that goes, we could see the government shut down yet again.
Well, with this shutdown over, Illinois families will start to see SNAP benefits restored starting today. They'll get their full benefits by November 20th. Nearly 2 million people in our state use the food assistance program. Benefits were delayed because the Trump administration did not use emergency funds to pay for them. We'll have more from Gabriella Primus later this hour.
Airlines are optimistic that they can get back to normal now that the shutdown is over, but it's not clear how soon that'll happen. The FAA says it'll not have to cut more than 6% of flights because air traffic controller staffing it's actually improved over the last few days. FlightAware reports that there have been more than 50 cancellations at O'Hare, though, this morning.
And to a developing story we've been following this week, civil rights activist Jesse Jackson remains hospitalized this morning. This is related to a rare neurological condition. The Rainbow Push Coalition says he has been dealing with this for more than a decade after his Parkinson's diagnosis. In a statement, the organization says, quote, "We are grateful for the medical team at Northwestern Hospital. Reverend Jackson is receiving appropriate treatment. They will continue to monitor his progress and well-being to ensure the best possible care and support."
8:08, and it is time to check in with Caitlin for a look at this. I love what I'm hearing about what Friday is going to look like outside.
You gonna do some yard work this weekend, maybe?
Maybe. That might be in order, right?
Right.
A leaf rake?
You got to go outside a little bit.
We'll see if we can top the number of bags you filled last year.
Oh, do you remember that?
Was it, how many
like
did
15.
you? Oh, 15, okay.
I thought you were going to say
15 bags.
Well, I'm still impressed. It's going to be really nice. Today and tomorrow, you got to get outside because the temperature is going to be fantastic. This morning, it's beautiful. Temperatures, they're not bad. We see the 30s and 40s, most of us in the 40s, and those 30s are flirting with 40 anyway. So talking about it, you're stepping out the door to 44 degrees at the lakefront, 46 at O'Hare as well as Midway. Temperatures in the upper 30s, as mentioned, from DeKalb to Aurora at 39 degrees. It is going to be a very mild day. Highs pushing into the 60s this afternoon and again tomorrow. So let's take a look at the timeline here. Our futurecast shows our quiet start, and as we get to your lunchtime hour, that's when the 60s start to appear. So this is at noon. 61 degrees from O'Hare to Midway, 62 in Aurora, 60 at the lakefront. And then by 3:45, temperatures in the mid to upper 60s. Some of us flirting with 70 at that point in our southwestern locations like LaSalle, Grundy, Kankakee. And then tomorrow is going to be another very warm day, but it's going to be a touch more cloudy. You can see even starting at 6 a.m., temperatures in the upper 50s with clouds in place. More sunshine for the afternoon. We'll take a look at your full weekend forecast coming up.
Thanks, Caitlin. Still ahead, Congress set to take up a vote surrounding files linked to the Jeffrey Epstein investigation. In the meantime, the BBC is issuing an apology to the president this morning following his lawyer's threat of a massive lawsuit.
And we've got more weather coverage on the way for you, but first here's a quick look at your 7-day forecast as we head to break. Stay with us.
Dad, it's really cold in here.
Yeah, I think the furnace is out again.
Dad, the toilet's backed up again. Dad, power's out downstairs.
Great. Heating, plumbing, electrical all at once.
Lucky us. Dad, just call Four Seasons. They can fix everything. Your trusted local experts.
Whether it's heating, plumbing, or electric, call your trusted local experts at Four Seasons today.
For all the right reasons, call 866-4 Seasons.
Welcome back to Good Day Chicago. It is 8:12 now, and here are some more of your top stories.
A federal judge ordered more than a dozen detainees released from custody by today, with hundreds more moved to home confinement. Now, this ruling all stems from a lawsuit alleging the actions of federal immigration agents largely violated a consent decree. No word yet if the federal government plans on appealing.
Illinois families will start to see SNAP benefits restored starting today. They will get their full benefits by November 20th. Nearly 2 million people in our state use the food assistance program. Benefits were delayed because of the government shutdown. The Trump administration also chose not to use emergency funds to pay for this, to fill the gap, while lawmakers debated the funding bill. Meantime, airlines, good news here, optimistic they can get back to normal now that the shutdown is over. It's not clear, though, how soon that will happen. The FAA says it will not have to cut more than 6% of flights because of air traffic controller. The staffing has improved over the last few days. FlightAware, though, does report there have been more than 50 cancellations at O'Hare just this morning.
All right. Doesn't sound, Caitlin, like the weather situation is going to get in the way of any travel plans, flights leaving town.
It's phenomenal.
Going to be gorgeous out, yeah.
Look at this. Yeah, we've got blue skies, sunshine. Warm temperatures today, not even mild. I'm calling it warm because we are pushing into the 60s today as well as tomorrow. Temperatures outside this morning, 30s and 40s. I think a light fall-like jacket would be perfect early today, as we are seeing still 39 degrees in DeKalb and Aurora, but it's 44 at the lakefront, 48 in Gary, 45 in Chicago Heights, 43 in Kankakee. The temperatures, they feel pretty good this morning. Mid to upper 40s, not bad. And this afternoon is when we are going to be pushing into the 60s. Our normal high is 50. I do expect highs to be around 65 degrees for us in Chicago. Look at that, LaSalle. You could be hitting 70. It's going to be so nice with the sunny skies. Now, we do have a few changes happening this weekend, so let's get into it. First of all, tonight, we're dropping down to the mid and upper 50s. It's going to be a very mild night. Tomorrow's highs back to the mid and upper 60s, but we're going to have a few more clouds around, especially the first half of the day. So the cloud cover to start is going to break apart in the afternoon as a cold front shifts on by. We're going to have gusty winds up to about 25 miles per hour possible tomorrow and tomorrow night, ushering in colder air. Tomorrow night, we're seeing the 30s return. And then on Sunday, highs only around 50 with sunshine. Early next week, Monday 45 with sunny skies. Monday night into Tuesday, we have the chance for a rain-snow mix. A few showers on Tuesday with a high of 45. And then we're back to the upper 40s on Wednesday and Thursday. Natalie.
Thank you, Caitlin. Well, even though the federal shutdown is now over, the consequences remain, from slowed economic growth to political turmoil on Capitol Hill.
Doug Luzader has more from Washington this morning on what comes next.
The shutdown signs are coming down. Museums and federal offices here in Washington are reopening, but this record-setting shutdown has left some marks. The doors of the federal government are once again open, and around the country, furloughed federal workers are heading back in.
I enjoy working, so I'm glad to be back. That's all I got to say.
The markets, though, had plenty to say yesterday. A massive sell-off, and beyond skepticism over tech stocks, it was fueled in part by overall economic uncertainty. For one thing, the absence of key economic reports has meant no one's really sure where things are heading.
We will never know what the unemployment rate was in October.
And the president's chief economic advisor says the economy will take a hit from the shutdown.
I think that at the beginning of the quarter, we were expecting a 3 to 4% GDP number in the fourth quarter, which would be consistent with the numbers over the last 2 quarters. And so now you're looking at something about half of that.
And while the nation's airways are returning to normal and SNAP food benefits will soon be paid out again, the uncertainty extends to Capitol Hill.
That means we need more effective leadership.
Democrats are questioning whether Senator Chuck Schumer can still lead the Democratic caucus after the shutdown failed to achieve their goals.
Leader Schumer had met with his Democratic senators to try to prevent that from happening this time, but now they're walking away pretty empty-handed.
And while that internal struggle continues, Democrats do think they'll have the upper hand next month when the debate here turns to health care. In Washington, Doug Luzader, Fox News.
Doug, thank you. House lawmakers are speeding toward a vote next week on releasing files related to the sex trafficking investigation into Jeffrey Epstein. Newly released documents raising questions about Epstein and his associates, including a 2019 email he wrote to a journalist that said President Donald Trump, quote, knew about the girls. The White House accuses Democrats, though, of selectively leaking the email to smear Trump.
These emails prove absolutely nothing other than the fact that President Trump did nothing wrong. Jeffrey Epstein was a member at Mar-a-Lago until President Trump kicked him out because Jeffrey Epstein was a pedophile and he was a creep.
The president has not been accused of any crimes related to Epstein. Convicted child sex trafficker and Epstein confidant Ghislaine Maxwell told the Justice Department this summer she never saw any wrongdoing by Trump.
All right, the BBC is apologizing to President Trump for a misleading edit of his January 6th speech. According to the network, its chair sent a personal letter to the White House, but he insists that there is no basis for any kind of defamation claim. President Trump's lawyer threatened a $1 billion lawsuit. Earlier this week, BBC's chief and top news executives resigned.
The Trump administration says it has reached a new framework trade agreement with 4 Latin American countries to help with affordability. The administration says it will ease tariffs on certain foods and imports from Argentina, Ecuador, El Salvador, and Guatemala. The new agreement could lower the price of bananas, coffee, and chocolate. The 4 countries will still face basic tariff fees. The deals could be finalized in the next 2 weeks.
The Department of Justice is suing over a California measure that would likely help Democrats win more seats in the House. Earlier this month, voters there overwhelmingly approved Prop 50, which would redistrict the state's congressional maps. California Governor Gavin Newsom put the issue of redistricting up to voters after a similar move in Texas that benefits Republicans. That move in Texas is supported by President Trump.
And coming up after Good Day Chicago starting at 10 a.m., we have Chicago Now, and we've got a lot of good stuff for you here. It can be a struggle to know the right things to say or do when your kids are throwing a fit. We're going to talk to an expert who has tips on how parents can support their toddlers through those emotional outbursts. It's like you don't want to do too much because you don't want people in public to feel like you're a monster, but you know, you get pushed to the edge sometimes. You may recognize her from social media or her comedy specials. Comedian Zhao Ying Summers joining us in studio. Plus, the award-winning Alicia Keys musical Hell's Kitchen officially taking center stage in Chicago. We've got all that and more starting at 10 a.m. on Chicago Now.
Plus, we have got more of your Orange Friday photos to share this morning. Looking great, fellas. Look at those guys bundled up. That was probably at last Sunday's game. All right, keep the photos coming, everybody. We will be back with more Good Day right after this on this Orange Friday. Okay, welcome back, 8:23. We've got a warning for certain meat eaters. Researchers at the University of Virginia School of Medicine have confirmed that the nation's first death linked to a meat allergy that is spread by ticks. Last year, a New Jersey man died after eating a steak dinner along with a hamburger while on a camping trip. His wife asked the school to review the autopsy that only listed the cause of death as a sudden, unexplained death. 47-year-old man had about a dozen bites that turned out to be from Lone Star tick larvae.
Two families suing the makers of By Heart infant formula after their babies were sickened by botulism. One child, a 4-month-old, spent weeks in the hospital. The federal lawsuits claim the formula was defective and the company was negligent. The families are seeking compensation for medical costs and emotional distress.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio says that the U.S. will begin denying visas for a variety of chronic health conditions, including obesity, diabetes, heart disease, and cancer. Earlier this month, the State Department warned embassies around the world about this. The U.S. will consider chronic health conditions as a reason to deny entry, citing the cost of treating those conditions. Other news, hemp-derived drinks and products like Delta 8 and 9 weed, they've been banned for good. A loophole in a farm bill that Congress passed years ago left out any regulation, so businesses started operating in legal limbo while state and city lawmakers tried and failed to put any regulations on them. Businesses that produce these products now have 1 year to cease operations before they become illegal.
The goal here is to keep our children safe. That really is my #1 goal about regulating intoxicating hemp. And when it's available everywhere and it's got names like Skittles with a Z on the end and it looks the same as, you know, the Skittles, the candy, it's just not right. And I have been disappointed that the industry here has been unwilling to accept proper regulation. So now we'll end up at the table talking about how best to move forward.
The hemp used to make clothing, however, and other materials, that is still legal.
FIFA is getting to use the Kennedy Center for free during the 2026 World Cup. The draw for the tournament will be held at the Kennedy Center. The Washington Post says FIFA won't have to pay a rental fee, and it'll interrupt the National Symphony Orchestra's performance schedule. The Kennedy Center has seen a sharp decline in ticket sales since it was taken over by President Trump earlier this year. Hey, get ready to lace up those ice skates. The skating ribbon at Maggie Daley Park opens for the season today. Sky Fox was over the park giving us a look this morning. Skating lessons, or sessions rather, I'm going to need the lessons. That's when I see skating, I think lessons. No, sessions are 2 hours. To sign up for reservations, you can head to our website, fox32chicago.com. And of course, we're hoping the weather holds up. I'm sure it will for this weekend. We're also hoping for good weather at a very special game this weekend.
Talking to the host of Big Noon Kickoff shortly about the big game between Northwestern and Michigan happening at Wrigley Field. Caitlin?
A lovely weekend, kind of 50-50. Saturday is going to be warmer with a few more clouds, but Sunday will be chilly. Highs back to the 40s. Today, on the other hand, happy Friday. It's going to be beautiful. We have sunshine, temperatures in the 60s, calm and quiet conditions. A full check of your weekend forecast is coming up.
All right, welcome back. It's 8:30. We've always got a lot to talk about with Fox News Sunday host Shannon Bream. This week is no exception.
That's right. She's with us live this morning. Good morning, Shannon.
Great to see you guys.
Good to see you as well. So let's start with the government shutdown. It's finally over, but the impacts are still being felt by a lot of people. They're facing flight delays and cancellations. What are you hearing? What can we expect within the next few days?
Well, Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy tells me that it could get worse before it gets better, but he's actually been encouraged. He said it seemed to be kind of a jolt of encouragement to people working in the airline industry when the shutdown actually got voted on and actually came to an end. So the money for back pay is funneling into their accounts, and so far it looks like more people are back on the job. And he says it's going to take a few days, and airline CEOs are telling us the same thing until they get back to 100%. But the good news is should be in order for Thanksgiving travel.
Oh, that's a good thing. Now, another lingering issue post-shutdown is the SNAP funding. Shannon, we know benefits will start being restored today, but are there any lingering issues with funding these benefits?
Well, here's the interesting thing. So that funding should flood in over the next day or so, 2-3 days, so that people will be fully compensated for anything that's been missed on the SNAP benefits. But you'll notice that while we have this short-term funding thing that gets us through January 30th, there are a couple of things that were actually funded for the full fiscal year. Veterans Affairs and the Agriculture Department, which that includes SNAP, meaning they shouldn't be in play, these SNAP benefits, if we have another shutdown at the end of January. I've got the speaker on exclusively with us on Sunday, and so that's my question is, do we do this again in January?
Okay, good. We'll look forward to that interview. Shannon, who else do you have on this week?
So we've got Senator Rick Scott. He's a Republican who was a healthcare executive, started a healthcare hospital line years ago, decades ago. And we've got Congressman Ami Bera, who is a medical doctor and a Democrat. And I want to talk to them about what we found out during the shutdown is how troubled our healthcare system is and if there is any common ground they could find.
All right, we look forward to the program. Shannon, always good to see you. Have a great one.
You too.
Thanks, Shannon.
All right, it's 8:32 back here in Chicago. Here's a look at some of the stories we are following for you this Friday morning. Chicago police, they are looking to identify these two men in connection to a double homicide in Little Village that happened last Saturday. There was a robbery on the 3800 block of West 26th Street, and moments after it happened, police say the robber got into a fight with two other men who he shot and killed. And the victims, a 63-year-old man and a 25-year-old man. So anyone with information is asked to call police.
Civil rights activist Jesse Jackson remains hospitalized this morning. This is related to a rare neurological condition. The Rainbow Push Coalition says he has been dealing with this condition for more than a decade after his Parkinson's diagnosis. In a statement, the organization says they are thankful for the medical care team at Northwestern, and they will continue to monitor his progress.
A federal judge got an up-close look at the Broadview ICE processing facility yesterday, and that visit followed a class action lawsuit alleging deplorable conditions on that site, including clogged toilets, no access to showers, very little food and water, and no contact with attorneys for the detainees. Last week, as part of this case, a judge ordered the government to fix all that. Attorneys for the detainees did not speak with us, though, after that tour. Also, in Broadview, we are waiting to see if detainees there will be released today.
A federal judge ordered 13 of them to be released in the Chicago area. Roseanne is live in Broadview with the update. Roseanne?
Good morning. Yes, protesters are gathering here now, enjoying what they consider some very good news. 13 detainees are set to be released today, and hundreds more could follow, released on home confinement. This is after attorneys argued that detainees were arrested without any legal justification or warrants. And that goes against a 2018 consent decree that ruled immigration agents could not make arrests without a warrant, so-called collateral arrests, like during traffic stops. Attorneys argued in court Wednesday that people without criminal histories unlawfully arrested should be released, and that applies to hundreds of people who have been detained. Now, the thing is, people ordered released are being held all over the country at this point, so it will be difficult to monitor. But there's excitement here in Broadview. We have been told that these detainees could be spread out all over the country at this point, but you're hopeful that some may be released here from Broadview.
We are hopeful. Some could be, and this has been a point from which some have been released before. There are several other spots, technicality, where they may be released. So this is one of those points where we've been vigiling and praying here, recognizing that this is a processing place.
Well, it is interesting because we did hear testimony in court from an Oak Park trustee that when he was released from custody, they drove him to a gas station in a sort of random neighborhood and released him. So even if people were to be released from Broadview, we don't know what that would look like or where they would end up. But attorneys think that this is the tip of the iceberg and that thousands of detainees could end up being released. The order requires them to be released by noon next Friday. At Broadview, Roseanne Tejas, Fox 32, Chicago. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Roseanne. 8:35 now. Recent arrests linked to a terror plot in Michigan have a connection to an alleged plot here in Chicago. Brian joins us with these new developments.
Well, according to federal court documents, the 2024 Chicago Pride Parade was targeted by ISIS in a foiled bomb attack. 3 men from Dearborn, Michigan were indicted on Thursday. According to the court documents, they allegedly scouted locations to attack from Michigan to Chicago. In an online group chat, one of the members of the group posted about conducting an attack on the Chicago Pride Parade on June 8th of 2024. Authorities did arrest the men on Halloween after uncovering their alleged plans to target LGBTQ bars in Michigan. So far, 8 people have been arrested in connection with that investigation. Anthony?
And thank you. House lawmakers are speeding toward a vote next week on releasing files related to the sex trafficking investigation into Jeffrey Epstein. Now, this comes as new documents raise questions about Epstein and his associates, including a 2019 email he wrote to a journalist that said President Donald Trump, quote, knew about the girls, end quote. Now, the White House accusing Democrats of selectively leaking that particular email in order to smear Trump.
These emails prove absolutely nothing other than the fact that President Trump did nothing wrong. Jeffrey Epstein was a member at Mar-a-Lago until President Trump kicked him out because Jeffrey Epstein was a pedophile and he was a creep.
And the president has not been accused of any crimes related to Epstein. Convicted child sex trafficker and Epstein confidant Ghislaine Maxwell told the Justice Department over the summer she never saw any wrongdoing by Trump.
The BBC is apologizing to President Trump for a misleading edit of his January 6th speech. According to the network, its chair sent a personal letter to the White House, but insists there is no basis for a defamation claim. President Trump's lawyer threatened a $1 billion lawsuit. Earlier this week, BBC's chief and top news executives resigned.
The Trump administration says it has reached new framework trade agreements with 4 different Latin American nations to help with affordability. The administration says it'll ease up tariffs on certain foods and certain imports from Ecuador, Argentina, El Salvador, and Guatemala. Now, the new agreement could lower the prices of bananas, coffee, and chocolate. But these 4 countries will still face some other basic tariff fees. The deals could be finalized in the next 2 weeks.
It is now 8:38 as we take a live look from the very calm and sunshiny lakefront. Caitlin is here to tell us a little more about the forecast this weekend.
I'm surprised there aren't more people out there this morning.
Right?
Yeah, it's not too cold.
Touch grass.
Touch grass, yes. Bring that anxiety down.
That's right.
We are heading into the weekend, and it is going to be fantastic. Right now, you saw from that live shot how sunny it is. It's quiet for all of us in Chicagoland. Blue sky is the story, along with the 60s today. Taking a look at our current temperatures, this is what I mean. It's 46 degrees outside at the lakefront. It feels good. 46 currently at O'Hare as well as at Midway. 39 in Aurora, 45 in Morris, 46 in Kankakee. Northwest Indiana temperatures in the mid to upper 40s for you. Here's your futurecast. So throughout the day today, we are going to have just those mild temperatures and sunny skies. Heading into your Saturday, that's when a cold front is approaching. First, we're going to have the clouds, but then the clouds are going to start to break apart by the afternoon hours. The wind is going to be gusty tomorrow. This is 445. Winds are going to be right around 20 to 25 miles per hour. This is going to be ushering in colder temperatures, including the 30s by tomorrow night, 40s as our high on Sunday. But Sunday will be beautiful. High pressure not too far off. Sunny skies are expected. So here's your 7-day outlook. Today's high right around 65. Tomorrow about 66. Then 50 degrees expected. On Sunday, upper 40s, low 50s. And then next week, we start off with 45 degrees and dry skies Monday with the chance for a rain-snow mix Monday night. Tuesday, a few showers with a high of about 45. And then the upper 40s back on Wednesday and on Thursday with the potential for rain back on Thursday. Back to you.
Thanks, Caitlin. The Bears hoping to add another win to the board. Lou Canellis joining us on this Orange Friday to preview their big game against the Minnesota Vikings. He's going to stop by next hour.
Plus, we've got more Orange Friday pictures to share. Yep, you guys look great in that Bears gear. We love seeing these photos that you're sending in to gdc@fox.com. Just attach those photos and we'll continue rolling out these galleries every Friday morning here on Orange Friday. We'll be right back.
I'm on vacation.
Welcome back. With the shutdown now over, full SNAP benefits are starting to roll out for families across the state this morning.
And those households, as they wait for benefits to kick in, food pantries obviously are helping to fill the gap. Gabriela Primus joins us live from the South Side with the latest. Hi, Gabby.
Natalie, Anthony, yeah, you know, luckily we can put that weeks-long shutdown behind us. Behind us is St. Sabina Food Pantry, which we know has kept families fed for weeks here as they've seen a lapse in those benefits. Illinois officials say they expect full SNAP food assistance to resume today, to begin flowing today. Nearly 2 million people in the state alone rely on SNAP program to buy groceries. They will receive the full benefits by November 20th. Food pantries across the Chicago area, like St. Sabina, were unable to match the need created by the $350 million lapse in monthly federal funding for people and families across the state. Illinois Department of Human Services said in a statement yesterday, in part, the crisis was entirely avoidable. The Trump administration had the funding to fully support SNAP, but chose not to, putting tens of millions of Americans at risk of hunger. The White House didn't respond for a comment. As soon as the shutdown ended, the Agriculture Department immediately issued guidance to states.
And we anticipated it could take up to 3 days, hopefully sooner, for people to see their full SNAP benefits back on their cards. So that's the really good news.
So the food pantry behind here at St. Sabina opens at 9 o'clock. Now, according to the 2023 U.S. Census, listen to these numbers. 26% of households use SNAP benefits in Auburn Gresham over here on the southwest side. But in some neighborhoods on our west side, it is nearly 44% of households. Now, we're going to try to grab a conversation in here with some St. Sabina food pantry workers to see how maybe need is expected to change here in the coming days. Live, Gabriela Primus, Fox 32 Chicago.
All right, thank you so much, Gabby. 8:45 now, and we have like the best weekend forecast on tap for you here, courtesy of Caitlin Cody.
Yes, it's Darcy's birthday, you guys.
Oh, happy birthday, Darcy.
So it's for her birthday party.
Perfect.
Maybe we could throw it in the garage. I don't know. Temperatures are going to be so mild today as well as tomorrow. Right now, you're stepping out the door to the 30s and 40s. Only a few of us still holding on to the 30s. The rest of us well into the 40s. It's 47 degrees at the lakefront, 46 at O'Hare as well as Midway, 39 in Aurora, 49 in Kankakee. Temperatures in northwest Indiana, mid-40s to low 50s right now. So we feel good. We look good this morning. By this afternoon, temperatures into the 60s. 65 as our high today. We're going to have that southwest breeze around 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tonight, mild, 57. It's going to be a little bit more gusty with that southwest wind up to 20 miles per hour. And tomorrow we are going to be fighting with clouds, especially the first half of the day. But 66 degrees as our high. A little bit gusty, too. Southwest wind up to 25 miles per hour. It's going to be gusty tomorrow night as well because colder air is settling in. So enjoy the mild temperatures while we have them today and tomorrow because we are back to the 40s on Sunday. This is our wind speeds. So I mentioned how things are going to get a little bit gusty, especially by Saturday afternoon when we're seeing those gusts around 25 miles per hour, staying elevated heading into Saturday night, and even on Sunday starting off with those 20 to 25 mile per hour wind gusts. Here's your 7-day forecast. So 66 degrees tomorrow, 49 on Sunday, Monday 45. Then we have the chance for a little bit of a wintry mix Monday night. Tuesday, the chance for some rain in the morning with a high of 45. 46 and dry Wednesday, Thursday, the chance for rain is back at 48. Brian.
Well, it is a big weekend for college football as Northwestern takes on Michigan in Fox Sports Big Noon Kickoff. They're covering with the action from a very unique location. This morning, we're joined by Rob Stone here to talk about the special show happening at Wrigley Field. Good morning to you, and thanks so much for being here.
Good morning. Thanks for the good weather here, by the way. I was watching that snow come down over the weekend, and then I just see the weather forecast. I'm like, 60s in Chicago in November. We're winning, man. We're winning.
It's going to be beautiful out there. Rob, this game is going to be taking place at the friendly confines. How does that maybe add a little bit of flair to the typical Big Ten schedule this week?
Well, I know for us at Big Noon Kickoff, we're going to lean heavily into the friendly confines of Wrigley Field and some of the activities that happen around the stadium as well, some of those famous bars. Certainly a unique setting. I think that's the big hook. That's the main reason we're here. That and Michigan is sitting there at number 18. And you see the kind of the layout of what it's going to be right now. I think the one element in play is I wonder how that shifts the home field advantage. I think it's kind of a niche type game, and it'll attract more Michigan fans than normal. I know those Northwestern students are going to make the way down south and come on out there, but a different setup for sure. But in the end, once that ball's in the air, these two teams are there just to play. And Michigan's, listen, they're playing for their Big Ten and their playoff lives as well.
Yeah, Michigan got a lot of work to do for sure. How would you say maybe the atmosphere of the special location at Wrigley compares to, say, doing a game at the Big House?
Ooh. Well, certainly less people than there'll be there at the Big House as well. And, you know, both those venues have tremendous amounts of history. But, yeah, there's something unique about Wrigley Field. I mean, you just say those two words, Wrigley Field, and you know, the memories that come up and the looks and the historic characters that have been part of the Cubs. So I'm sure the players and the coaching staffs will think of that maybe today. But I think once they roll into the stadium Saturday, this is a Big Ten football game with a lot on the line for both these programs. But my guess is, particularly the backups, there'll be a lot of those moments where you're just kind of spinning around and looking at the wall and seeing how much ivy is still left and taking in the bleachers and seeing who's watching from the rooftops and whatnot. But one of the great things about college football, they're able to pivot like this and really embrace something like this unique setting tomorrow.
And Rob, for the game itself, Michigan is great at running the football. Northwestern is very good at stopping the run. Who do you think maybe has the advantage there?
I think Michigan has the advantage right now. They're clearly the better team, but Northwestern really able to rally off of a challenging season last year. So they get a win. They are bowl eligible. But for Michigan, they're sitting there at 7-2. And as Sharon Moore said, look, we've got the youngest team in the Big Ten, and we have all of our goals still in front of us. They are still in play for the Big Ten championship game. They are still in play for a college football playoff invite, but they can't afford any slip up. So they have to get by Northwestern. Then they're at Maryland, and then the game inside the big house, right, with Ohio State and Michigan in a couple weeks on Thanksgiving time. So I like the Wolverines in this one, but I think if you're a Northwestern fan, you're very pleased with how this program has grown and how it should grow even further when they get into that brand new stadium next season.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to that. We did see Northwestern pull off an upset a little bit earlier this year. We'll see if they can do it again tomorrow against Michigan. Rob, thanks so much for your time.
You got it. Thank you.
All right, time is now 8:50 this morning. Let's check in live with Jake this morning. Jake, how you doing?
Brian, I am doing so great. We are live in Lincoln Square, and we are literally going to show you how the sausage is made. We are live at Gene's Sausage Shop, and let me tell you, there's a reason these guys have been the go-to place for sausage in Chicago for 60 years. We'll tell you their secret coming up when we come back.
The Chicago
Most of us associate Thanksgiving with turkey, But there are no hard or fast rules about what you can eat.
So why not try a Chicago-style Thanksgiving, everybody? Yeah, good idea. Let's check in with Jake, who's live at Gene's Sausage Shop for a couple ideas here. Hey, Jake.
That's right, guys. We're live out here in Lincoln Square. And listen, I've never been a big traditional Thanksgiving dinner kind of guy. I've always said, give me a sausage and I will be a happy man. And listen, if you're looking for the best of the best, look no further than Gene's Sausage Shop. We're out here with Derek Lush, Gene, the man, the myth, the legend, who we're going to be speaking with. He's the man. Derek, I got to ask you, you guys have been around coming up on 60 years. It means you're doing something right. What is how much of your success and it is just not changing tradition?
Well, that's kind of what we do. We've been using the old world recipes now for over 54 years here in Chicago that were brought down from my grandfather to my father, and now I'm slowly learning it. But it's an art. It's something that, you know, takes a lifetime to learn.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
That's correct.
You know, I was talking with Gene a little bit earlier this morning, guys, and I was thinking, I was like, where are all the machines that do these things? And what's automatic? What did you say is automatic?
Automatic is the power.
It's the power. It's the muscle, which he's still got.
Yes.
Gene, you guys have been around almost.
It's good, but you gotta.
But, I mean, you can't top these guns right here. I mean, we were just saying you make it look easy, but it's not, because if it was, everybody would do it. What's the secret to the success?
The secret is of the success. You want to have a do it.
You have to want to do it.
Want to do it.
Yes.
And you know, this way, if you want to be a butcher, you're a butcher. You want to be a doctor, you're a doctor. You have to be adapted to it. Yeah. Not, I'm going to try for a day or two, for a week or 6 months or a year and drop it. No such a thing. That's just like marriage. Yeah. I'm married to a woman 60 years. I'm not going to change it now.
Go all the way if you're going to do it.
I got 2 beautiful kids, 3 granddaughters.
You did something right, Gene. That's what I'm talking. All right, guys, we want to show you the finished product. Come on in here, because it's one thing. First of all, can we just give a shout out to how big these things are? You know, some places, maybe they're going to save a penny here, save a penny there. Not here at Gene's. They are giving you some massive ones. Case in point, come in here, guys. We want to show you the finished product. This has been my favorite. Gene, come on in, man. We want to show you this. Take a look at this. To me, this is beautiful. I want you guys to react. Look at this. Come on. This is what, Gene? You said this is andouille sausage?
This is andouille sausage.
Andouille sausage. I wish you could smell that wood burning. Look at the wood in there. You said it has to be. It's down to the details. It has to be fruit wood.
Cherry or fruit, any kind of fruit. They give you the whole flavor for the thing.
See, guys, it's the details. It's the not breaking of the tradition. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. But like Gene said, if you're going to do something, do it. Do it right. Do it all the way. Don't half-butt it. Do it all the way. We are out here at Gene's Sausage Shop and Lincoln Square. Guys, that is no joke. That smell, like I'd imagine when the pearly gates open, that's what I'm going to smell. And I'm going to be handed a couple of these. On that note, we're going to take you upstairs and show you the shop coming up in just a couple of minutes.
It's amazing.
It's like, you know, you think of chestnuts roasting over an open fire, but in Chicago it's sausages. That's what it is.
Yeah, forget the chestnuts. Who needs chestnuts? Give me andouille.
Heavenly. Jake, thank you, sir. We're going to take a quick break and be back with more Good Day Chicago. Our 9 o'clock hour is right after this. Stay with us. Happy Friday.
Bear.
Welcome back to Good Day Chicago Online. Here's a look at what's coming up on this Orange Friday.
All right, so we are celebrating a CPS teacher who was just named a Chicago Bears classroom legend for his mentorship, his leadership skills, all the great things. We look forward to bringing him in.
And we want to introduce you to a shopping guide with all locally made gifts just in time for the holiday season. I've already looked it over. Lots of good ideas on there.
Now, did you start shopping?
Not yet.
Okay.
But the wallet is open, is what I'm hearing there. Gene's Sausage Shop. It's been a Lincoln Square community staple for more than 6 decades. We're going to take you back there this morning and learn their art for food and flavor. But right now, we're going to take you outside for the art and flavor of an unusually mild November day. Caitlin, Cody, I mean, this is not going to break a record, but mid-60s in November. Thank you very much.
Phenomenal. Yes, beautiful today and tomorrow. Tomorrow, back to the 60s. Let's talk about these weather headlines. So first of all, nice and warm today and tomorrow. There's no rain in the forecast. We have beautiful blue sky today. Tomorrow, a few clouds, but still mid to upper 60s are expected. Some of us in our southwestern counties could be at 70. Then the 40s are back on Sunday. So cold front swings through. We can't hold on to the 60s for too long. Enjoy it because 40s on Sunday and next week, seasonably cold air is settling in. Some days could see the mid 40s as our high. Temperatures right now, stepping out the door to the upper 40s and low 50s. It's 47 degrees at the lakefront, 52 in Gary, 50 from Midway to O'Hare, 47 in Aurora, 48 in Morris. Here's your futurecast as I take you through your day today. Hitting the low 60s by lunchtime, 3:45, and temperatures are in the mid to upper 60s. By this evening, 7:15, we're still in the upper 50s, so you can go for your evening walk comfortably. And tonight we stay mild. The clouds build, as mentioned, especially the first half of the day tomorrow. Temperatures, though, pushing to the upper 60s for many of us. And we are going to have sunshine, especially in the afternoon, before colder air settles in tomorrow night. And on Sunday, we are going to have a couple nice days before we get there. But my goodness, Sunday morning, 42 degrees, highs expected to stay in the 40s, which you can see on our 7-day forecast. 49, but at least it will be beautiful looking. We do have the potential for a little bit of wet weather Monday night into Tuesday in a wintry form. And then a little bit of light rain possible Tuesday morning. Temperatures in the mid 40s Monday and Tuesday, back to the upper 40s as we get into Wednesday and Thursday. Back to you.
Well, we will savor these next couple of days. So as we said, lots of great things to get to, but we do have some hard news to tell you about as well. New this morning, ICE detainees in the Chicago area are expected to be set free today.
A federal judge ordered the release. Roseanne is live this morning in Broadview with the latest details.
Good morning. Friday morning always starts with song and prayer here, but today protesters are in especially good spirits, and that's because 13 detainees are ordered released and hundreds more could be released on home confinement. Now, this is after attorneys argued that detainees were arrested without legal justification or warrants, and that goes against a 2018 consent decree that ruled immigration agents could not make arrests without a warrant, so-called collateral arrests, like during traffic stops. Attorneys argued in court that people without criminal histories unlawfully arrested should be released, and that applies to hundreds who have been detained. Keep in mind, people ordered released are being held all over the country, so it could be very difficult to monitor. But there's excitement in Broadview.
The mood for us is a sudden and surprising and reassuring sign of hope. Hope that dignity can be restored, hope that we start to get order, semblance, and humanity back into the immigration system that we've been fighting about and praying about for these months.
And attorneys say they think this is just the tip of the iceberg and that thousands of people could wind up being released. Once again, let me just give you a look at what's going on here. The protest area practically bursting at the seams and more people arriving by the second. So we will be out here getting their reaction to today's events, and we'll have more of that for you in the next half hour. Back to you.
Thank you, Roseanne. So now that the federal shutdown is over, federal workers have started heading back to the office in Chicago. A senior Trump administration official says agencies have been directed to issue back pay as soon as possible. Most of the government will run on autopilot through January 30th, but Congress is still trying to finish up funding work. Depending on how that goes, we could see the government shut down yet again.
Well, airlines are optimistic that they can get back to normal now that the shutdown is over, but it's still not clear exactly how soon that will be able to happen. The FAA says that it will not have to cut more than 6% of flights because air traffic controllers' staffing has improved over the last couple of days. FlightAware reports that there have been more than 50 cancellations at O'Hare this morning.
Illinois families will start to see SNAP benefits restored starting today. They'll get their full benefits by November 20th. Nearly 2 million people in our state use that food assistance program. Benefits were delayed because the Trump administration did not use emergency funds to pay for it.
Well, new this hour, Walmart's top management is changing. This was big. Walmart announced this morning that CEO Doug McMillon will retire in January. The company says John Furner will take over. Head of U.S. operations and a longtime insider will take over. So McMillon's retirement is effective January 31st, 2026. Furner will start as CEO the next day.
All right, there are trade agreements in the works with Latin American countries that could mean cheaper coffee prices. That's good news here. The Trump administration says it will ease tariffs on certain foods and imports from Argentina, Ecuador, El Salvador, and Guatemala. The new agreement could lower the price of bananas, coffee, and also chocolate. 4 countries will still face basic tariff fees. The deals could be finalized in the next 2 weeks.
Well, hemp-derived drinks and products like Delta 8 and 9 weed have now been banned for good. A loophole in a farm bill Congress passed years ago left out any regulations, so businesses started operating in legal limbo while state and city lawmakers tried and failed to put any regulations on them. Businesses that produce these products now have 1 year to cease operations before they become illegal. Now, hemp that's used to make clothing and other materials will still be legal.
And even though the weather is so super warm this weekend, get ready to lace up those ice skates. The skating ribbon at Maggie Daly Park opens today. Sky Fox giving us a look over the park this morning. Skating sessions, 2 hours each. To sign up for reservations, head to our website, fox32chicago.com. So here's hoping the weather holds up for it.
I remember, like, when I was a kid, my grandmother taking us for ice skating lessons every year around Christmas.
Aww.
Just great memories, yeah. So go out and make them. After the break, we are kicking off Orange Friday. We're talking with holiday gift buying and Choose Chicago. It's 9:08.
Welcome back to Good Day Chicago, the Orange Friday edition. Time now is 9:10. Bright sunshine over the city today and one of the best forecasts we have had in a while. Well, just in time for the holiday season, Choose Chicago launches its ultimate guide to holiday shopping. It features made in Chicago items from local artisans. It is a one-stop shop to finding the perfect gift for everyone on your list, while supporting local small businesses. Joining us to share how you can find this guide is Isaac Reichman with Choose Chicago. And Isaac, not just actual individual tangible items, but also made in Chicago experiences as well on the list.
Yeah, we know experiences are big this year. It's going to be a huge hot item for gifts this year. We've got a ton of recommendations for only in Chicago experiences, starting with staycations at local hotels like the Athletic Association, the Peninsula. We've got amazing local hotels. We've got spa days. We've got food tours, theater tickets, museum memberships, cooking classes, and more.
Yeah, the bear food tour, I thought with Mr. Beef was super fun. I love that one. Where can people find this amazing gift guide?
ChooseChicago.com. We've got an amazing gift guide. We are your guide for everything holidays, all your ways to be a tourist and a visitor in your own city.
Can you detail some of the local shops that are also spotlighted on the guide?
Yeah, we've got many, many local shops. As you saw up there, we have your guide to neighborhood shopping, to Pilsen, Little Village, Chinatown, Andersonville. Some recommendations, we have Chocolat Uzma in Pilsen. And then we have Neighborly, which is up in Lincoln Square and in Wicker Park. There's so many small businesses for you to support this year.
If you can't actually make it in person to the small businesses, have you found that they'll maybe ship to your special someone?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, in this day and age, everyone also has an online shop. They also will ship. They'll also ship, distances, whether it's someone in Chicago, maybe you have a Chicago lover that doesn't live here anymore. There's so many ways to experience Chicago gifts.
How important was it in putting this gift guide together to really uplifting some of these local businesses?
Yeah, this is a big time of year for everybody, but especially for our local businesses. So many of our retail shops, so many of our venues really rely on the holidays, especially as we enter the slower period after that. So this is such an important time to shop local, to support your neighborhood businesses, your downtown venues. There's so many different places to support this year.
Also on the Choose Chicago site, there are some great Chicago experiences in general, right, that aren't necessarily on the gift guide that you might want to check out, because it pretty much showcases everything happening in Chicago, right?
Yeah, this is all about the holidays. So, in addition to your regular shops that are here year-round, we have some amazing holiday markets. Obviously, Chris Kindle Market, but there's many others all across the city that, you can explore and buy gifts, but also just experience the holidays in Chicago.
And also holiday productions that are coming to Chicago for a limited time.
Oh my gosh, you're so right. I cannot wait. We've got the Nutcracker at the Lyric. We've got Christmas Carol, obviously, at Goodman, and so many others downtown across our neighborhoods. So many. I love this time of year.
Yeah.
And, there's so many ways to love the city right now.
We're looking at going to Elf, the stage performance of Elf at the Auditorium Theater, and also 'Twas the Night Before, the Cirque du Soleil holiday-specific performance that's going to be happening at the Chicago Theater. So those are two of my favorites on the list. Isaac, thank you so much again.
Thank you for having me.
Coming up on Chicago Now, you may recognize her from social media on her comedy specials. Comedian Jiaoying Summers is joining us in studio. Plus, the award-winning Alicia Keys musical Hell's Kitchen officially taking center stage in Chicago. All of that and more, it starts at 10 a.m.
All right, welcome back, everyone. 9:17 right now, giving you a live look out at the fountain that is no longer going, and that just means that the cold weather has come through, even though this weekend should be fairly nice. So get out and enjoy it once we finally get out of work. But you know, teachers are often called heroes in the classrooms for their work in educating the next generation. The Chicago Bears recognize that extraordinary support and honor amazing teachers in their community. And so we want to be a part of what they're doing here. So today, one of those classroom legends, Harold Arnold. He is a physical education teacher at Sherman Elementary School in Chicago. Mr. Harold, thank you for being here. Or do they call you Mr. Arnold or Mr.?
Typically, everybody calls me Coach A.
Coach A. That's
Yes.
what we're going to go with, okay?
Yes.
Coach A. So congratulations.
Thank you.
This is awesome. How did you find out about it?
I found out I was in my classroom, and the principal, the nurse, and everybody just came in my classroom with their phones out, and I'm like, something's going on, but I'm not quite sure. The next thing I hear is there a Harold Arnold here? And I'm like, that's me. They're like, you have been selected as a Chicago Bears classroom legend. And I, like, lost it. Because it's like, I'm teaching and my kids are going crazy, and I was just like, I can't believe I received this. So it was like, I was almost like speechless.
Oh, that's wonderful. You know, so many times, like, you sit down with kids and you're like, what was the best part of your day at school? And they're like, PE. And you're like,
yes.
But you're the reason why a kid would say that. What has 20 years, and for a lot of people, they're like, 20 years in the classroom, he looks 20. But what has 20 years in the classroom been like for you?
20 years in the classroom has been great. It's been a complete growth. I remember when I first got there, I was only doing like kindergarten through grade 3. Now I teach pre-K through 8th grade.
Wow.
I have partnerships. I have grants. Right now, I'm the chairman of the school board. So it's like, it's all these things that it's like a growth year after year after year.
Yeah, and of course you're seeing kids grow during that time period. What motivates you? I feel like it's kind of obvious, but what motivates you to keep doing what you do and to continue to elevate in it?
What motivates me is definitely my students. I'm at the point now where I'm teaching students where I've had their parents.
Yep.
So it just comes to where it's like I see my impact now every day, and it just feels great.
Yeah, and of course they're recognizing, the Chicago Bears recognizing your impact and maybe putting it on a whole new level.
Yes.
What does something like this do for you?
It feels great. It definitely puts our school out there. We are a great school, and I'm always looking for any partnerships or like grants. So if there's any partnerships out there, reach me at acarnold@cps.edu. I am looking forward to like meeting you and bringing like the best for like everyone there. So, yeah.
Tell me about some of the other partnerships or grants that you have been able to receive to help things at the school. What are the things that you need it for?
Yeah, so one partnership I have is with Chicago Sky. So last year they came out and they did like a tech with a basketball skill set, and they're gonna come out this year in January. So if you are listening, I hope Angel Reese can also come out
look right in the camera and tell Angel.
Because our kids would love you. So please come out. You know, so yeah.
I'm sure somebody from the Bears. Who would you be looking for from the Bears? Like a Rome Odunze?
Everybody loves Rome.
Okay,
everybody loves Moore. Caleb, of course. Everybody wants to see Caleb. But yeah, anybody.
Okay.
All of them.
Yeah. Well, we're just so happy for what you're doing, how you're pouring into kids on a regular basis. And I know that when we do a segment like this, there's somebody at home who's like, well, I know a teacher who should be a part of this. What do you say to them? What do they need to do?
I would say go to Google and do a search and look up Chicago Bears Classroom Legend. And this program not only helps you, but it helps your school. The schools get a grant, and you could use that to like pay for like programs after school, before school. Then it gives like a light on like your school too. So it's just like, if there's any great teachers out there, Google search it and make sure you nominate them.
Yeah, and there's so many great teachers out there. But we're so glad that we had one here today. Chicago
Thank you so
Bears
much.
legend here for the classroom. And I know you were recognized at the Bears Saints game.
Yes.
Glad that we could recognize you once again
Thank you.
today. Thank you so much for what you do.
Thank you.
922, Brian, take it away.
Well, you've heard of love never dies, and for the world's oldest married couple, it's an everlasting love. Danielle Zalowski from our sister station in Tampa has more.
Their love stood the test of time.
Love, love, love.
Eleanor and Lyle Gittins tied the knot 83 years ago in Bradenton, and despite their differences, they stayed together.
I was from the north during the so-called jazz era.
Come and love you, Daddy.
And I was what you call hip, very hip. So hip that I didn't speak English. I spoke only slang. And she had to help me remember how to speak English.
Being together for 83 years makes them the oldest married couple by combined age. And they also hold the world record for longest marriage for a living couple.
Happy to be alive. Astonished.
For their children, their commitment was an inspiration.
I think their expectation was they agreed to be married and they were going to stay married. I don't think either one thought they would live this long, but I don't. But I don't think they had the expectation that, that they wouldn't stay married.
The couple lived in New York City, Lyle's hometown, most of their marriage, but recently moved to Miami. They live independently in a high-rise just down the hall from their daughter.
So we decided that they should, be taken care of more directly. So we tricked them into coming down. He used to tell us, when you leave New York, you're camping out.
This marriage created a legacy. 3 kids, 3 grandkids, and 5 great-grandchildren.
That's one of the bonuses. We get a chance to see them grow. And we've seen the great-grandchild finish college. Makes us extremely happy.
The couple says this is real and what a long-lasting marriage looks like.
I don't know how to describe it. We're here, and so since we are supposed to be the oldest, this is how it looks like. What you see is what you get.
And their secret for a long-lasting marriage?
We used to have a martini every night.
As both still have a little bit of spunk and a whole lot of love for each other and their family. Danielle Zlukowski, Fox 13 News.
You're watching. 9:27. I promise I had still been over here ogling
Yes.
over that oldest married couple. Amazing, beautiful. People are, though, starting to get the food assistance that they have been needing, with SNAP benefits starting to resume today.
Yeah, a lot of people have been worried about where they were going to get their next meal from. Our Gabriela Primus joins us live from one of the places that's been stepping up to help some of these families.
Brian, Anita, good morning. Yeah, we're in the St. Sabina Service Center. We were outside earlier getting ready as they opened their doors at 9 a.m. A few people waiting as they waited for the doors to open. Not an unfamiliar sight. As we know, St. Sabina has helped many families keep their families fed and themselves fed during the lapse in benefits. Now, Illinois officials say they expect full SNAP food assistance to begin flowing today. Nearly 2 million people in the state rely on the SNAP program to buy groceries. They will receive the full benefits by November 20th. Food pantries across the Chicago area, like St. Sabina, are unable to match the need created by the $350 million lapse in monthly federal funding for people and families across the state. Now, Illinois Department of Human Services said in a statement yesterday, in part, the crisis was entirely avoidable. The Trump administration had the funding to fully support SNAP, but chose not to, putting tens of millions of Americans at risk of hunger. The White House didn't respond for a comment. We spoke to Tim Allison. He's a humble servant, but also the executive director here at the St. Sabina Social Service Center. He says the last handful of weeks have been overwhelming.
So even though the SNAP cuts ended, the people still are in need. They need our service, and SNAPs is not enough for a lot of families, so that's where we come in at. So we're here for the community, so anyone that needs service, they can come to us. We also offer wraparound service, mental health, housing, and utility assistance, so that's what we're here for.
Yes, they definitely do offer a lot here at St. Sabina. He was saying that they were serving about 150 to 200 people before the lapse in benefits, and then during that lapse it doubled, meaning the shelves aren't as stocked right now as they wish they were. There's no meat in the freezer, but they're really working to try to get all the food necessary here back on the shelves. And they're asking the community, of course, to step up and help them recover and also feed families here for the future. Live, Gabriela Primus, Fox 32 Chicago.
Gabby, thank you. So grateful for what they do. And yeah, you could even see in there like
the little bear. Yeah, little bear. Yeah, for sure.
All right, getting ready for a turnaround this weekend.
It is beautiful outside, and the temperatures outside are equally as pretty out there, Mike.
They are coming up. The normal high this time of year is right around 48, 49 degrees, and most of Chicagoland has already exceeded that. And we're on our way to a really warm day today. I still can't believe that a few days ago I was afraid to go above 58 degrees for the high today. Right now, 50 at Midway O'Hare in the lakefront. Joliet, you're at 52. LaSalle, Peru, I'm waiting to see whether maybe you hit 70 this afternoon. 51 at Maryville, 49 at Valparaiso. And the warm-up is just going to keep on keeping on because we have nothing but sunshine out there. This is where temperatures are headed today. Quickly into the 60s by lunchtime. And here we are about 3:45. This is going to be close to our high for the day. And you see these 69 showing up on our model there. This evening, it's not going to cool off that much. Remember, the normal high is about 49. We will have low temperatures tonight above the typical high this time of year. Now, tomorrow there is a cold front on the way. More cloud cover will be in our sky. Today, perfectly sunny. More clouds tomorrow, but temperatures still get up there. But that cold front's going to start to knock temperatures down tomorrow night, and by the time we get to Sunday morning, it's going to feel a little bit more like November out there with widespread 30s, and then during the day Sunday, maybe a struggle to get back up to 50. So let's look at the 7-day here. 65 today, 66 tomorrow, a 49 on Sunday. Then we'll keep temperatures in the mid to upper 40s next week. Chance of showers coming in Monday night into Tuesday morning, and then perhaps a bigger chance of more substantial rain arriving on Thursday with a high temperature of 48 degrees. Got a couple of very nice photos that just came came in. This one, last night's sunset over Taft Middle School in Crown Point. You could still see a little bit of that plowed snow there. Of course, you had a tremendous amount of snow there in the Crown Point area. Christy Klingberg, thank you for sending in that fantastic sky shot. That's gorgeous. Next, our final photo this hour is a sunrise over Route 39 in Mooresville, Missouri. And Donna and Al Weber from Oak Lawn, obviously on some kind of a road trip, and she took that picture from the passenger seat of their RV. So have a wonderful trip, Donna and Al, and that was a fantastic sky you got to enjoy there. Coming up on 9:33, we got more of Good Day, including the performance from the Jersey Girls, coming right up.
Chicago Blackhawks, they're getting off to a hot start this season. We were talking about this the other day.
Yeah.
Connor Bedard looking like one of the best forwards in the game. Blackhawks, they're going to host their first centennial celebration night against Toronto tomorrow night. First 8,000 fans at the UC will get one of these. Very cool, right?
There he is. A celebration to honor Hawks Original starts tomorrow at 3:30. Exhibits in the atrium. This is the Tony Esposito bobblehead. One of the first goalies who, and Luke can confirm this, who had the butterfly style. He was also left-handed,
wow,
which a lot of people weren't aware of. But he was truly, one of the great Blackhawks, one of the great NHL players of all time.
Mike, when I grew up, for Christmas, my dad went to Gunzo's. Remember Gunzo's supplied all the equipment, and he picked me up, the pads, the sweater, and I was a Blackhawk player, but I was Lou Angotti.
Oh,
remember
sure,
Lou Angotti?
absolutely, on defense, sure.
But, man, when I used to play, we used to freeze Comar Avenue in Oak Lawn.
Okay.
Dave Wills and I, Dave, who was the voice of the Rays here in Chicago, unfortunately passed away, was my best friend. Dave and I and a bunch of kids in the Oak Lawn neighborhood would freeze Comar or Knox where he lived. And when I played goalie, I was Tony Espo. Okay, I loved Esposito. We had season tickets for the Hawks at the old Chicago Stadium. Pitt Martin, you challenged
That's right.
me.
Pitt
He
Martin, Jim
challenged
Pappin,
me.
Dennis Hall.
He said, "Oh yeah, if you're a real Hawks fan, what was Martin's
Come on,
number?" I'm
Derek.
like, "Dude, seven, of course."
Attaboy.
Stan Mikita, all the guys. Man, I am the biggest hockey fan out there.
Okay.
There hasn't been much to cheer about, but I am so happy that the Hawks are starting to turn
In the
it
right
around.
direction, yeah.
I was at the game a couple of weeks ago against Ottawa. Man, they are playing well. They lost a tough one to the Devils the other night in
But
overtime.
they got a point.
They got a point
Yep.
in overtime. But Bedard is starting to bust out, man.
He is.
Warning to the
Year
rest of
number
the
3.
NHL, here comes the kid.
We're coming. Speaking of kids, our Bears looking pretty good so far. Taking on the Vikings on the road this weekend. We saw what happened when we opened up against them at the beginning of the season.
Won that game.
What do you think that we could take from that game and maybe apply now that we're seeing them a second time?
You know, I got my arms folded like this. Okay. I don't want to hear about the
Don't be
opener.
glum. Don't be glum.
I don't want to hear about the opener. Bears are a different team. And I'm not lying. Okay. Bears couldn't run the football at the beginning of the season. Not just against Minnesota. First 4 games, they could not run the football. Ben Johnson took advantage of the bye week after week 4, okay? Sat down, didn't go to the Caribbean to take some time away from the game. Sat down with his coaching staff and said, for my offense to work, we need to run the football effectively. The offensive line has come together. They've been blessed with good health. Let's be honest here. And they're finding holes now for guys like DeAndre Swift, Kyle Monangai. Bears, guys, over 900 rushing yards the last 5 weeks. Wow. They haven't put together a run threat like that, Mike, since Walter Payton was in the backfield back in 1986. They did in 20. If you really dig, if you're out there and you're like, Canellis, you're wrong. 2022, they ran the football like this. Yeah, Justin Fields had most of the rushing yards.
Right, yeah.
Okay, so that's just not real. Yeah. This is a real running offense right now. Don't forget, in Detroit, Ben Johnson's offense worked best when he had Sonic and Knuckles going at it. All right, David Montgomery, the former Bear, Jahmyr Gibbs in that backfield. He's got his version right now of Sonic and Knuckles.
Ooh. All right, what's Brian Flores going to dial up defensively then to try and stop that run?
Well, they're going to number one, try to stop the run, and they're going to keep an eye on Caleb Williams. Mike, Caleb Williams is driving the rest of the NFL crazy right now.
These spinorama moves that he does?
Well, you can't pull him down because what happens is, as a defense or a defensive end or a linebacker who's a pass rusher, you realize, man, his base is strong. Even if you wrap him up, he ain't going down. Okay, you need to get 2 guys to pull him down. If you play man-to-man defense on him, now your defensive backs are running out, and they've got their backs to Caleb Williams. So if he starts to take off, you don't know he's taking off. If you play zone defense against Caleb Williams and rush only 4, and the Bears keep 5 or 6 in the block, they're going to make room for him, holes. So Caleb Williams is driving defenses crazy right now. I don't care what Brian Flores draws up, because no coach in the NFL has had more success against a Brian Flores defense than Ben Johnson, who averaged over 30 points a game when he was offensive coordinator in Detroit. Forget about the opener. It's time to go at it. It's going to be tough, man.
It is.
Hostile environment. People keep asking me, are the Bears a playoff team? They need to win 4 of their last 8 games. And even 10 wins might not get them in. Seattle won 10 last year and didn't get into the playoffs, okay? They need to win 4. They need to win this game.
And then very quickly, running out of time here.
I got the Bears.
Brisker didn't practice this week.
That's my greatest worry. You didn't ask me about the Bears defense. My greatest worry is the Bears defense in this game.
Still a mass unit.
Okay? No, I mean, we haven't learned yet that Jaquan Brisker isn't playing for sure, but Brisker hasn't practiced all week. T.J. Edwards hasn't practiced all week. No Kyler Gordon, no Jalen Johnson, Justin Jefferson, and Jordan Addison, who didn't play in the season opener because of a suspension.
All right, don't forget the Blackhawks bobblehead, that game against the Toronto Maple Leafs Saturday.
I want to go to that game. That's a great game.
Tony Esposito.
The Leafs are here.
The Regional 6 meeting up again. We'll be right back after this. love when these ladies perform for us, bringing some morning harmony to our show this morning. We're happy to present the Jersey Girls. They're one of Chicago's most prestigious and popular vocal groups. They travel nationwide. They recently performed a halftime show for the Chicago Bulls. They did the national anthem at Wrigley Field, movie premieres, film festivals, high-profile functions from the East to West Coast. And now we've got them on Fox 32 showing off one of their original songs. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning, everyone. And Mike Kaplan, let me tell you what the weather is out here in the beautiful Shea Hotel in Arlington Heights. It's spring, and it's spring all winter long, right, girls?
It is. We just wanted to wish everyone a beautiful morning as we're about to sing for you one of our latest originals. And it's called Euphoria. So please enjoy and have a great rest of your day.
Angelic heights, I try to keep it cool. You undress my disguise, and somehow I fell deep in love, one that never feels enough. We were lost and out of touch, both fell into euphoria.
Fabulous Deanna, Daniela, and Lindsay, the Jersey Girls. Keep up with their performance schedule at thejerseygirlslive.com. They have a big Christmas show coming up at that Shea Hotel on December 19th. All right, Abe Froman, the Sausage King of Chicago. Not quite the same, but Jake Hamilton is there now to tell us more about these
Mike Kaplan,
sausages.
I got to tell you, I think Abe has nothing on Gene. Listen, if you're looking for the perfect gift for the holiday season, forget the department stores. Come on out to Gene's Sausage Stop. We're going to take you inside, but first, grab a number. They're very busy. We'll tell you more when Good Day Chicago returns.
That's a little okay to go a little non-traditional for your Thanksgiving meal. We had some non-traditional meal yesterday too. Yesterday was really good.
Indian turkey. Ooh, that looks so good.
Well, especially you can shake things up Chicago style.
Jake joins us live now with Gene's Sausage Shop with some ideas and some. I wish we could be there to taste what you're seeing.
See how it's made.
I lovingly am glad you're not, because selfishly that just means more for me, guys. You might remember in the last hour, we literally showed you how the sausage was made here at Gene's in Lincoln Square. But I wanted to give a shout out to just the beautiful store itself. This place is absolutely gorgeous. We're here with my man, Derek. Derek is the son of Gene. Derek, I am in love with this place. You know, you were kind enough to let us sort of kind of go behind the scenes and see how the sausage was made. But, you know, looking at all of this, one might not think perfect holiday gift, but it is, and this is actually your busiest season because of it.
It really is. It really is. I mean, nothing, you know, says holidays more than food.
Exactly.
You know, it brings you back to your being a kid or growing up or your mom making something. And so
look at all of the, I mean, look at the sausages on the wall. Look at the meats right here in front of us. And this stuff is you guys. Now, do you mind if we kind of show off what you guys were cooking in the last hour?
Exactly. I definitely wanted you to try some of the stuff that we filmed earlier on today. This is going to be our andouille sausage.
And this is just what you showed us about 45 minutes ago.
Exactly. So give it a try, Jake.
I have to be completely honest with the people at home. Completely honest, guys. This is my third piece. And what did you say? There's nothing like it coming right out of the
smokehouse. You know, still steaming and hot and juicy. But we make all of this stuff on a daily basis. We make it on demand. We don't use preservatives in our meats. And we do it literally on demand. It's a lot of work. But that's, you know, what people expect from us.
And I want to talk about that. You look at the meats that you guys have here, and something about them, they just look fresh, and they just look like you guys just placed them right here. And a big part of that is the no preservatives thing. I mean, this is as clean eating in terms of regards to meat as you're going to get.
I believe so. I mean, the only thing that we would use is, you know, something that's been used for hundreds of years is smoking.
Sure.
Smoking is a natural preservative. We also add in a little bit of sea salt, but that's what's been used for hundreds of years. And we kind of continue that tradition here at Gene's.
And if someone's interested in maybe grabbing some food for Thanksgiving, grabbing something for dinner or for Christmas dinner, you don't want to wait to the last minute. I mean, you said you guys are going through how many different turkeys and things throughout this time of year?
We're continuing to take turkey orders. We have a small family farm that we work with outside in Minnesota. Really big. We go through 400 or 500 turkeys during Thanksgiving. Even bigger than that is we go through about 4,500 pounds of prime rib that we age here in-house 45 to 55 days, and we trim it just specifically for the holidays.
Now, listen, Derek, I'm working on Thanksgiving, so if you don't mind, I'm going to get your contact information, get it to the bosses at Fox, so we can go ahead and get set up for those of us that are working on Thanksgiving. We're good on that.
Not a problem at all.
All right, really quick, where can people come out and find you guys? Where can they get more information?
So we are located in Lincoln Square, 4750 North Lincoln Avenue, or you can visit our website at www.genesausage.com.
Love that. Derek, we appreciate you guys. Whatever's left is what I'm bringing back to you. I can't promise.
He keeps shaving off of what he's bringing back.
It'll be anything.
That's piece number 8, 9, 10.
Jake, that is the worst.
Brian, mind your business.
Live shot you've done.
See
that is the worst.
The worst.
Get it?
All right, Jay. Well, let's send it up to Studio 32, where Chicago Now is getting ready to kick off at the top of the hour.
Hey, Caitlin and Anthony.
Hello there, downstairs. We got a fun hour coming up here on a Friday. We've all been hearing about these weight loss drugs, the semaglutide drugs. A lot of promising results. However, you may not want to be on these things forever, so we are going to learn about a 10-week plan that'll help us move on from the semaglutide, but keep the weight off.
That's right. Toddler tantrums, are we handling it the right way? I question this myself all the time, so we are breaking down the expert tips and how to deal with the toddler tantrums.
Be right back.
Okay, happy Friday, everyone, and thanks so much for being here with us. Goodness, it's going to be a nice weekend.
That's what I've been told. 60 plus today and tomorrow. Caitlin, whatever she had, I'm going with that.
All right, thanks for joining us on this Friday edition of Good Day. Keep it right here. Chicago Now starts at the top of the hour.
Go Bears! Woo-hoo.